Lift off then for the third time here this weekend on Racing Post Live in association with Betfair. We're with you wherever you are. You can easily beam into us, let us know. Great stuff coming your way. Greatwood Day, do we call it that? We'll be popping to Ireland for a little treat for you as well shortly. 3 races coming thick and fast. Oh, Lord. Get your thoughts in about this, guys. The Schlur Chase. Is it the Schlur Chase? Blimey, it's a valuable affair, that's for sure. It's a school round for Nubia Negrin out, Edwardstone out, Sizing Potsy out on account of the ground. 5 millimetres of water have gone down on the track last night. Dave Orton, thrilled to be with you. What a show we had yesterday and Friday as well. And let's keep it going this afternoon. It's live and interactive, as you know. Thumbs up, get involved if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know you're out there. Like and subscribe if you're watching on Facebook Live. Say hello and anything on Twitter. Those clips have been great this weekend. Hashtag RP Live. All right then. Who's going to win the Greatwood Gold Cup? No one was tipping better yesterday than Mattie Batch out the park.
Yeah, on fire, Dave. I'm just watching Fontwell, so can you come back to me in 2 minutes?
Have you got one there, have you?
Yeah, it's called Juvenile, so I asked Sam to put it on the telly.
And Brighton are on the box today, and yet
Brighton
you,
on the
here
box.
you are.
Yes, I've committed myself to you. I've given up my football. I've given up a ride. I mean, just...
Well, the pressure's on for more tipping because everyone loved it yesterday. We had a good laugh, didn't we?
Yeah, good laugh.
Yeah, we'll keep it going. And look who's back. The Quizmaster himself. Betting editor Keith Melrose.
Hello, Dave.
How are we, buddy?
I'm well, I'm well. You've called it Greatwood. It's Southern National, Dave.
Oh, we should have known.
We know it, don't we? Lovely staying chase to get our teeth into here. And
the road to the Ida begins.
Absolutely, the road to the Ida begins here.
Yeah, I love it.
Is that a public holiday yet, Ida Day?
Yeah, oh, it should be, shouldn't it? We're definitely getting you back in for that, aren't we?
Oh,
February time. We'll mark it off, my man. Great to have the betting editor with us. 3 days in a row for James Millman as well. Pressure's on you, my man, as well, because one nap on Friday, unanswered prayers, goes in. The nap yesterday, Banbridge, straight away, knocked it out the park. What's the hat trick?
You knew what that was going to be on Friday, or even yesterday. Nubia Negro, we talked about on Friday. I thought he'd beat Edwardstone. Obviously, non-event, isn't it, really? Just the two arrivals this afternoon. So I'm going to go actually in the last race for the Irish horse, who John McConnell won at the meeting last time, who is part of my Lucky 15. Fenner's Cross, who's been strongly backed on the Betfair Sportsbook, now 5-2. I know you would really like the Nicky Ensign horse. Talking about that one on Friday. He's quite weak in the market, actually. He
has been, yeah.
Berico Lord. And you got Springwell Bay, John Joe, a potential star, one mopped up in lower grade. Collector's Item was a similar type. He ran on Friday, and I laid him for a place, and I thought Springwell Bay could be one to oppose. So the final nap of the week, Fennel Cross.
All right, okay, trying to get this.
Yeah, we'll get the Lucky 15 up.
Let's do it now. So if you're not sure what the show is, welcome along. Jake Galloway opens it up. Afternoon all. Let's have some winners. Honestly, great tipping from these panels these last couple of days. What can go wrong this afternoon? But James is going to trade for Betfair. Barry's still on course. I think he's gone back to Ireland today, actually. He's probably in Navan. We're going to take in the list muddle hurdle. Bob Ollinger versus 2-time Stairs Hurdle winner. Florian Porter, and not the only ones in that race of interest either. That's coming up very shortly after the Schlur. But he places a trade in every race. You don't have to bet, of course. It's safe gambling. That's what we're on about. If you want a small outlay to try and get a big return, what's it going to be?
Right. Lucky 15, a win one today. Back on the lash in the 220. Process of elimination a little bit for Martin Keatley's runner because I don't like the top two. Fantasticos and Does He Know in the market. Then we're going to head off to, well, Navan's actually first. Florian Porter. I don't like Bob Ollinger. I thought he had a bit of a wind issue last year. Maybe switching back to hurdles might not make a great deal of difference. So I'm going Florian Porter. I like to move it in the Greatwood. I thought that second in the Betfair at Newbury, Redwell, big handicap. Quick ground form at Cheltenham in the autumn last year. And then finally, Fenner Cross. So that's going to be a £2.50 win, Lucky 15, 3,897 if they all come in, which would be quite nice.
Well, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, the multi is on the move. People who are watching that go, these multis never land. But look, the point is that I think you got to leg 3, didn't you? And you tried to.
Yeah,
you went to be a hero.
Big price ones, and then Strong Power let me down at Lingfield, headed on the inside of the track, which always upsets that Dave Orton.
Yeah, we had a bit of lovely Lingfield chat. They were saying that there was nothing wrong with going on that far right at Lingfield. Schoolboys, Keith, schoolboys. That's why us here at the Racing Post know what we're talking about.
Several thousand races would tell you otherwise, wouldn't they? That's the thing. I don't know why either myself particularly, but
he's not having it. He's still not having it.
Camera angle deceives you. Back to the multiples. Bet £10 on multiple, you get a free £10 bet on Betfair.
Self-fulfilling prophecy, you called it. That's one of your lines, that is. You
Yeah,
love that line.
I do like
you two are going to get on.
I do like a self-fulfilling
Yeah,
prophecy.
he
It's like
loves
these
it.
French
When you said it, I
coaches.
looked up and I thought, he's here or it's supposed to be on Sunday, Keith.
Like, you keep writing, telling them to go wide, they're all going to keep going wide. So
Well, listen, and we saw
literally
we missed
just
the cut,
us.
didn't we? What a finish that was. The finishes at Lingfield yesterday were great. 2 pots of Fontwell, as Keith quite rightly says. It's just a Southern National there. I quite like one there. I'm sure the boys will be seeing the ball big. Is there something of an elephant in the room coming up now at 1:45? Is there something that's, I mean, look, the weather's been what it is. I'll come to you with this, Keith, first and foremost. We've had a little bit of a say of it so far. You are paying into a Racing Post. What do we do with this? I mean, it's a very valuable school around this, isn't it? I mean, Skeltons will be absolutely delighted. We spoke to him, what a shout, on Friday morning, and even with Edward Stone, who has come out last year's Arca winner, they were fancying him giving the weight. Nube Negra Heaven, he called it.
Yeah, no, he came up with a better line than me, actually. I was writing much the same effect about this race for the Racing Post today and didn't come up with Nube Negra Heaven, so Dan Skelton's done me there. But these conditions, I was sort of with, I think James, you fancied him, didn't you? And I was a sort of same mind that under most conditions I probably would have a go at Edwardstone to beat Nube Negra, but fast ground, first time up at Cheltenham, it was a day where he was likely to have Edwardstone's measure, but it doesn't matter now. You know, Edwardstone's not running, but we're left with a very, very thin race.
Why are we left with a very thin race?
Because everybody thought Nube Negra and Edwardstone were the big two in the race, and a few others that might have turned up and made this a little bit more deep, if not particularly interesting, have not bothered to be declared.
Yeah.
I would like to put in a word early doors for the Daily Tiger in this race, who's having his second start for Lauren Morgan. He was in the Paddy Power at the 5-day stage, didn't get declared.
Ex-Gigginstown horse, isn't it?
Yep, they must be. Mead was in Ireland, was it Mead?
I think it's Mead. I'm going to say Mead.
No Mead, yeah.
And just they must be high-fiving each other around that yard for the decision to come to this race instead, because it's even without the prize money that he gets added on, because there's no 4th and 5th prize money. It was 20 odd grand for second if Daily Tiger finishes second.
Should this be a handicap? That's what everyone out there is asking.
Well, we've got the Halden Gold Cup, haven't we? And the other races you were mentioning.
Edwardstone might go to Ascot next week.
There's a handicap is Ascot next week.
He might run in that.
That's the only target he's got left. He's going to get a prep run into the
before the Tingle.
So actually, top 2 milers have got ample invitation to run on a handicap to get ready for the Tingle Creek. They don't need it. You could argue this race isn't needed at all in a sense, but the ones that don't want to run handicap have the option of running in this race. 2 of the relatively small pool of good British 2-mile chasers took up the invitation, and one of them, their connections, thinks the ground's too fast.
It's an old school thing, Matty, isn't it, to run good horses in, under big weights in handicaps, but when they're sort of like, these condensed handicaps and all that sort of thing, conditioned handicaps, whatever. But whenever these good horses tend to actually try, they usually win.
Yeah, exactly. But
Royal Pagai would be one, wouldn't he? It springs to mind.
Well, last year just destroyed the handicappers, and then different level when you're going up to proper Group 1 or Grade 1
people are too
level.
afraid to just keep their horses now before the festival. They don't want to have an race in that. Is that Altior and CNA's fault?
There's a good stat. I think it was Graham Rodway put it through. There's been like 330 something horses or chasers running a handicap of a mark of 158 or higher in the last 12 years. 90 odd of them were trained by Paul Nichols. So there's one guy that still does it a lot.
yeah.
That was
last week, didn't he?
Was that Keels that unearthed that in the weekend?
It might have been Keels.
It might have been Keels.
Somebody wrote the stat, and it was something like 300 and odd of these horses with high ratings are running handicap chasers, and 90 odd are Nichols.
That's ridiculous.
When you get races like this, though, people are always going to take. It's an easier option.
It is, well,
And in life in general, you're always going to take the easier option.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Look, Charles Carter comes up. Charles, good afternoon to you on this Sunday here on Racing Post Live. And we say time to allow horses to enter if there is less than 8 runners. These graded races are 24 hours and not kill their handicap mark if they get close to the high-rated horses. So what are you suggesting? That
But whatever horses are there that are missing
shouldn't be penalised?
because you had the 2-mile handicap. So yes, it's 21 grand for second, but the 2-mile handicap, I think you went more for winning that than you would have done for coming second in that. So are you right to just aim for the minor prize money, or are you going to run in a race which you can actually win?
On the flat, we often, we spoke about it in the office, didn't we, before we came out. On the flat, we always say, why is that Premier? I mean, the Racing League got hit with a couple of sticks because, we saw the consolation races for the sprints, they were down, weren't they? Because they were decent prize sprints, like 3 days before each other. Things like, Windsor have got one on a Saturday now. It's very valuable to go to. It means it's going to be down. We've got the Southern National today. And we've got a 3 mile 3 handicap. It used to be on the Friday, the 3 mile 3 handicap. I know
Saturday,
it's
it was
still
always,
extremely close to each other, isn't it? But Slipway, for example, who now runs at Fontwell, I'd have fancied him if he'd run at Cheltenham. He was going to run in the Badger Beer, wasn't he?
He was very nearly price-wise in the Badger Beer because I was price-wise last week, and it came down to that. Only when I saw Ben Pauling's quote that said he won't run unless there's rain did I go, well, no point in that then. He's a very interesting horse, but yeah, he was one of those horses that's got the option of both. The Cheltenham race is a former Grade 3, which means there's no cap on sort of ratings. So it's there for the highly rated horses. A horse rated 143 or higher couldn't run at Fontwell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little bit funny to have those.
Just seems a bit close together, doesn't it? I don't know. If we're talking about small fields, it just seems maybe that we're shooting each other in the foot a little bit.
Well, you just mentioned the Badger Beer last week. That's now been opened up to a limited open handicap, which is why Frodon took part. But this race today, fantastic horse, and as you know, were at Sandown on Sunday when that was cancelled literally 20 minutes before the race started. So you would have been missing the top 2 in the market if that race had actually taken place, so we would have been struggling to get the full weight runners.
Can you imagine this race without Fantasticus? And does he know, these sexier second season chasers? It would be and Slipway's
not really a Cheltenham type. You say by course standards if you're writing it, don't you?
Well, you have to, because Cheltenham just becomes such a. You assume that Cheltenham form is strong, but I thought the showcase a little bit, and even at this meeting, I don't think
you've been a tad disappointed.
I think it's people think Cheltenham form's of a certain level, and I think you can make money by opposing the form. Certainly the perceived wisdom about the form we've seen at Cheltenham so far this autumn. That's
the sort of nugget that you get here on the show. You're going to get raucous reaction during the races. We're aware that some of you don't get the pictures. We had people from Barbados yesterday. We did. We've got some Aussies as well.
If you're in Barbados, why would you watch in the Paddy Power Gold Cup?
Well, because you're not going to go down to Garrison Savannah, all the time and see the quality there, are you? We, as much as we love Garrison Savannah, but they love their betting over there. They love it over there, and there's a lot of expats over there, of course. As well.
Was it Michael Holding actually?
Was it Michael Holding? No, where's Mikey from? He's from.
I thought he was from Barbados.
No, he's not. He's. I can't remember exactly where he's from. I should know because I interviewed him on What a Shout. That was a career highlight for me. That was.
You swine, you absolute jammy swine.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Do you remember? I remember when just very quickly. You were in the office when I called him. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And you went, I would not have been as confident as you then, Dave Orton.
You were bluffing. Just so well, you couldn't see you because you were sweating.
Exactly. I went to a quiet corner of the office in case you started coming over my shoulder or something like that. Yeah, the Whispering Death, of course, huge. Of course, well done to the 2020 cricketers this morning down in Australia. They beat Pakistan, didn't they? Great scenes down there, of course. All right, well, look, we're filling a little bit because is there an angle here at all, or are we just going to watch this and talk about the champion chase through it and what might unfold? Is there anything?
Well, it's 1.13 on the normal exchange for the win. 12s is Ganapathy and Day Takers 24s. You've got on the Sportsbook lengthen your odds, and you've got a variety of distances 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, all the way up to 20. 20 lengths is 13 to 8. I don't think he'll be extended.
No, I mean, he got ridden right out last year when he won the race to beat Politolog, but I don't think they want to give him a hard race before Sandown.
Exactly.
Now that the thing exists, I think this time last year, they didn't quite have the same idea that he was best fresh this time last year, did they? So they'll try and save him best they can, you'd have thought.
So you have got, if you went for 5, that's 4 to 1 on to win by 5 lengths or more. I don't even really got the forecast because I think Ganapathy's the fair one.
Is it a? Well, no. Daily Tiger's a better horse than him. If
10 lengths is 7 to 4 on.
And the yard have mentioned that they're here for the prize money, and it's a 12 grand race for a second, really.
So you're not going to, if you are Ganapathy or your Daily Tiger, you're not going to be wanting to fire them into the fences because you're going to get a lovely payday, a lot of training fees.
You're going to play. You're just going to mark them. It's like running against the cheetahs in that joke. I'll outrun you. Yeah. That's what they'll be doing all the way around. I think Daily Tiger's a decent
your forecast is 2.88 for Daily Tiger and 1.8 for Ganapathy. So since Patrick Neville won our opener, big price 10 to 1 Drifter. Ganapathy has been actually backed as a solid clear number 2.
Look, Shifty Lad comes up on the screen. Welcome along this afternoon. Says, sad set of circumstances when horses can avoid each other because there are too many types of similar races out there. We hear it so much on the flat, don't we? We heard it last year in the jump season. Thankfully, we had the Clarence House.
Well, what happens as well is you can get more races or you can have fewer horses. And we're getting a little bit. We got the proliferation of races 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now we're getting
horses.
And now we're getting fewer horses, so we're getting both ends of it really.
Yeah.
And now we're getting this is the result. But as I said, had there been 5 mil of rain on top of that 5 mil of water in Cheltenham, you'd have had a decent race here.
Yeah, fair
so
enough.
I don't think this is the.
Has
the,
been
the
a weird.
strongest
It's been
example.
dry for such a long time, isn't it? You know what it's like. All right.
I think
okay.
that's it. People wanted the ground, soft ground came and then it went basically.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look. They put 5 mil on, as I said last night. Off they go then. In the Schlur. Yes, it is the Schlur chase, and we should celebrate Nuben Negra because he's a great horse. He's still only an 8-year-old. Ganapathy does lead then. It was always going to be interesting to see what Harry did here because he's a horse that does like to sort of wait, isn't he?
No, he's quite buzzy. I mean, even when he started over fences, they run him at the speed tracks. He is that sort of horse, so it looks like he's going to just give him his head a little bit, doesn't it?
Even if this was a silly, steady gallop batch, he'd just still go away from him, wouldn't he? I mean,
Yeah, he would do. I'd say he tried to get a lead into the first, and
didn't happen.
he put down on him, and he's given him his head. He's pinged the second, so he's doing the right thing here, Harry.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So look, Fav's in front, and I'm probably not even going to go to James for a market update at any stage during this.
No, it's still the same. Although for 2 places, Daily Tiger's just your favourite, 1.67s, 1.71 for Ganapathy for that forecast slot. Both of them actually struggling really to keep up with Nuben Negra already.
It's almost worth saying that as we're watching these go through, and we'll see I'm sure a fantastic crowd coming through, that we're going to 1:55 at Navan for you. It's not on terrestrial TV, but don't worry, we're going to cover Bob Ollinger's return over hurdles. There's the crowd then. Maybe not quite looking as busy
Well,
as Saturday was.
These two here, I mean, there's one thing of keeping up with Nuben Negra, but their main priority is not keeping up with Nuben Negra.
yeah.
Their
I
main
mean, Ganapathy's gone from first to very much last in a fence.
Yeah, he doesn't jump that fluently from what I've seen either.
I
So
can't remind myself about Ganapathy. I can't really mind too much about him. What sort of horse was he?
Just a 138.
yeah, he was a sort of not quite top for Mullins from what I remember, and there's another big jump. He's not jumping like a horse that particularly enjoys jumping fences there.
No, good point. He's won 2 novice chases at Wexford.
And
in the
fair
summer.
play to Harry. I mean, he's really giving him a bold sight, isn't he?
Well, he is, but I think the other two are just not. He could do whatever he does. The other two are not going to try and match him because they don't want to. They want to
He's
beat
still
each
not
other.
out of second gear though, Harry.
No.
I suppose people will have done a forecast on track and things like that, won't they? You know, and let's hope that we don't see too much omitting. From
Well, yeah,
those
20
low
lengths or
sums.
more is probably looking quite promising, actually. If you took that in the length in your
Bruce
odds
Millington
market.
will be. He's our distance
Yeah,
doyen.
loves a distance.
Loves the distance. I'll tell you what, he reached for that one a bit, Batch.
He did a little, but he's just come out of his hands, and he's got plenty in the tank.
I'm trying to create some drama, Batch.
Well, you can't, Dave. It's just-
Well,
You
it's
could have come in at 2 p.m. and thought the show had started, wouldn't you?
If you're back, the 20 lines plus, he's letting him fill up coming up the hill here,
Yeah.
isn't he? Just for this ditch. This is a ditch, and he's that's a
Yeah.
Yes, he's
There
letting
you
them
go.
close a bit now. That was a great sight, wasn't it?
As you say, he's run down there, down the back there. He sort of got him up, get a bit of breath into his lungs.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably just
He'll
let
come here, he'll turn in, Harry, and he will, listen, he'll use this. There's no point going around here.
Why did he
At
miss the
schooling
champion
pace.
chase? Can you
He just-
remember?
rain.
Was it the rain?
Top ground,
yeah.
heavy, wasn't it?
I mean, how ironic is that?
The Wednesday last year.
Of course it was heavy, wasn't it? Yeah. What's he doing now then, Batch? Coming up to this tricky third last. I mean,
Is
I
he
always
tricky?
call it
Yeah.
tricky third last.
He's
He's just waiting to see a stride.
he is, isn't he? It was a long way off when he picked
He's
that
going,
stride as well.
There you go.
Yeah, he's pinged up. This was the fence that caught out French Dynamite yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
First time at the track, you know. He ran a blinder, didn't he? The Paddy Power Gold Cup.
It's not the sort of fence you want to get in deep to, because you've got to get your feet over quick, because it just runs away from you a little bit.
Once you meet that fence running, are you now pretty relieved, despite the
Yeah.
fact you've got 2 fences
Yeah,
to jump?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting,
Well,
isn't
see,
it?
you can turn around and you meet these sort of fences are sort of coming
Yeah.
back up, rise on the ground. So
Daily Tiger now absolutely legless, guys. By the way, and if you're doing forecasts or distances, Harry's taking it pretty easy.
It looks like Laura Morgan's not even started training Daily Tiger yet.
Yeah, it's that does spring to mind.
He's like very short of a gallop. Both
get-
starts now for her.
You're getting a rough idea of the betting MO of our betting editor here, because I've got a feeling you're keeping an eye on this chap.
Yeah, Laura Morgan's a tremendous trainer. And she knows exactly what she's doing. That horse will be getting lined up for a handicap down the line, I thought.
Yeah, Posty's a big fan of hers. Right, okay, there we go. Pretty much the canter that we
That's
expected
about
for Nuben
6, 7.
7, I'd probably go for.
We reckon about 7, and Ganapathy for the forecast. Then a respectable
He
first
hasn't
run.
actually run too bad.
Yes.
The first start for the Patrick Neville yard. You've had a good day at Cheltenham, winning the first and 20 grand for second in the
Yes, the handicapper hasn't given him official mark over here yet over fences, but on that you're looking at about 150, aren't you, probably?
Yeah, he never had a published one in Ireland by the look of things.
Okay, yeah, 140 over hurdles, and okay, let's play the sort of distance game, if you like, an RPR game. Has he had to even run to his mark, Nuben Negra? No.
That's the sort of race that you absolutely despise
can't
to
rate,
rate.
can you?
As a handicapper, you despise rating races like that because the form is worth less than a can of beans.
But 56 grand going to connections. Well done. Right, that's it. Cheltenham underway. We've now got 4 races coming your way. It's going to be thick and fast. In between the races, we've got some gaps. We'll get an idea of what the guys think of what they've seen so far at the meeting, what might still be coming up in the week. We might have some John Bond chat, of course. But here we are. It is the Lismudden Hurdle. James Millman. And everyone was umming and ahhing what this bloke might do during the summer. He's back over hurdles.
Yeah, read a Racing Post thing, Ryanair candidate, wasn't it?
Yes, thank you. I got. Oh yeah, they had some belters at me yesterday when I was talking about the big jump off.
Oh, did you write you with a 2.5 mile or?
Well, I also get. Yeah, I hope you weren't involved in this, by the way, because Rodway and Parky gave me that after you got the Gold Cup, after he got the Champion Chase Division. I'm left with the pickups.
Well, you also took Brave Man's game off me. I wrote a whole thing.
Were you going to do that for the Gold Cup?
Oh, for the
Parky was like, you've got to put him in the.
Well,
you've got to put him in.
He's a sharp 3 mile horse, isn't he?
It shows you how tricky it is, though, isn't it, to sort of work out where these horses' best distances will be against the, your Alahos and your Aplutards, basically. All right, so look, where are we going with this then? We actually are agreeing on this one.
We are. But he's strong in the market, Bob Ollinger. They're still happy for this comeback. He's 2.9 on the exchanges. 4s with Zanna here. Flooring Porter, who I like, and I think we're both in agreement. Last year he was travelling well when falling second last, I think it was. DeRusso ended up winning. So I'm going to have £20 on at 5.1. And one for the each way money, I think Ashdale Bob, I don't think he'll be in the first 2, but I think he might sneak third if one disappoints. He's 8.4 and 28's and bigger the remainder. But yeah, Bob Ollinger just starting to drift a little bit now up to 2.9, having been a bit shorter first thing.
Was he always going to be favourite, Bob Ollinger?
I think so. I think with these horses that have that sort of reputation, it takes a long time to lose it.
Like Envoy.
Well, he's sort of done a little bit for it recently.
Oh no, a marvellous comeback.
Well, Sanko would be a better example. Even when he was on the way out, he still kept going off shorter than he ought to because of the reputation he had. And I couldn't, at the moment, until he shows me otherwise, I couldn't be having Bob Ollinger. He looked physically wrong last year. He looked physically. It wasn't. The fences weren't helping, but he looked physically wrong last year. And how can you back him in this sort of?
Well, we know Keith's not doing it. Batchelor, you had the tipping prowess. Have you looked at this race? I mean, Gav Cromwell had a winner on Friday. With a horse that had run just 3 days previously at Fairyhouse. He had a road go close as well. Everything he's doing is going all right. So why is Flooring Porter so big? He looks like value to me.
I'm siding with Flooring Porter just because of the price he is and just what sort of repeat what.
This is a clean sweep for the Porter.
Yeah, I'm not sure he'll be fit. I thought Zanaheer's the only one that'll be fit.
He does tend to be a March type horse, doesn't he, Paul? He's a springy type horse.
He'll be right twice. He'll be right for that Christmas race, and he'll be right for the Stairs Hurdle. So.
Zanaheer?
I think Zanaheer because he's the only one who'll be fit. I mean, I think Flooring Porter's definitely a better horse than him, and Bob Ollinger was a better horse than him, but Zanaheer will be fit.
Zanaheer's 4.1. If you like Flooring Porter like we do, he has actually gone out to 6.4 now. He could be a bet delay in running because I think he will be making the running and probably like the fitness angle. I would imagine he'd still be in contention around the home bend. So we'll keep an eye on him in the run. You might want to lay it off at maybe 2.5, something like that, just seeing how he's travelling, how he jumps off, because last year he was going well when hitting the deck 2 out.
Right, well, they're coming out. OK, all right, they're coming out. Bob Ollinger then, 30 to 8. Zanaheer does look like the buzzer, doesn't he? And I said on Friday when we saw the decks for this, that maybe he could be one of these juveniles that was just biding his time before he goes up in trip. A lot of these Triumph Hurdle type horses, and he was a real buzzy juvenile, wasn't he? They struggle in that year 5, don't they? And they look like grinders and all that sort of stuff. He could be the one potentially. Some other very interesting horses in here. Commander of Fleet, one of the great moments of the Cheltenham Festival for us, that wasn't it, when Bruce put him up in the Coral Cup. Ashdale Bob, of course, who he just went down on the shield there as well. Sire du Burlay, the Potemps horse, but of course business in this race as well.
Very much another March horse side of Burley, isn't he?
You called Flooring Porter's win at the festival the ride of the season.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Was that not the one where was that not the first year?
It's mainly because you were irked by Derek Fox getting Corrick Rambler.
And,
I saw
if that was such a good ride.
The McCoys?
If Fox was such a good ride, why is that horse 6-1 fab for the Hennessy off £7 higher?
I absolutely knew that would have got your goat. We'll talk about that.
You've angered him already, just at the start.
Oh, he can get it. He's missed me. All right, the first thing to say, guys, is that Flooring doing what he does best, and he's getting the lead. Ashdale is a horse that also likes to lead, but he's in second, home of the lead. Nice horse himself in third position now. And I'll tell you what, 3 right out the back as well. Let's have a look for exactly what they are.
One of them, unsurprisingly.
And the 2 outside.
Now, where's Zanaheer? He's in midfield, upsize Bob, James.
Yeah, Zanaheer's 4.8, 4.9. You could already lay off Flooring Porter for a profit if you wanted to, and we knew he'd be making the run. And 2.6 Bob Ollinger, they're happy with Rachel's position.
All right, OK. Batch, what's catching your eye?
Nothing really. It's the early stages. Sensible gallop. Flooring Porter doing what he does best out in front, and yeah,
Just that simple.
simple.
He does
It's
jump.
not overcomplicated,
He does
Dave.
jump really well, though, Keith, doesn't he? This
Flooring
bloke. Without
Porter,
putting the
yeah.
mockers on. I know
Well,
he fell in this race last year,
You
but he
really
does.
can't
He
do
does.
that.
Come on.
Dave.
He does jump really, really well when he's good over.
He is a slick hurdler,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
He really is.
Usually because he gets bounced out and just he finds that rhythm in a way that you can't get really as well when you're sitting in behind horses. So he does just bounce out, and yeah, he is a very fluent hurdler generally.
Let's go on Bob Cam then, shall we?
He's looking happy. 2.2. He's shortened dramatically, actually.
He's certainly full of
Really?
himself, isn't he?
What were they expecting? Were they expecting him to turn
Win
up with
by
3
now.
legs, or
He was a bit sketchy there, actually.
Left his
Yeah, he's
back
back
in
out
the
to
bin.
2.6 on the back of that average jump.
Yeah,
Tell you
okay.
what, some really, very volatile that, isn't it?
Home by the Lee's not happy at all. He's dropped out. I'll tell you what, Commander of the Fleet, we haven't seen him since that gruelling Coral Cup. It looks like he's on a repeat bid
Him
for that.
and Cider Burley don't look particularly enthusiastic.
Yeah,
for
for
it.
sure. And Reg on
Commander
the
of
outside
Fleet
as
was
well.
actually the top scoring horse in last year's 10 to follow. Did you know that?
Was he really?
Yeah, because he won the
The bonus points
50s.
for
Yeah,
prize.
well, it's prize. You get the ASP, your return on the ASP.
was
Because he won
right.
another big handicap at 40s.
That was when Bruce fell off his chair, wasn't he? I think he needed that winner as well, but then he had a fantastic week. But here we go. Look, Flooring Porter is catch me if you can, basically, and that's absolutely deadly, wasn't he, over that one? Zanahir, again, being ridden for the trip. Gatsby Gray, interesting horse himself. He sits in 4th position. It's all about Bob, though, isn't it? We're looking at
Well,
him.
James, I'm thinking of Flooring Porter here. You talked about your trade
I'm
potentially.
4.4.
Yeah.
I like to be greedy and just
He
wait
does,
for
he
it
does.
to,
We
get
had
a
this
little
yesterday,
bit
Keith. He
shorter.
waits.
Hopefully you'll get short under 3, I'd imagine, if he keeps this up for another mile, half mile.
The one that's drifted is Zanahir. He's 3rd in now, 5.2.
I'm not totally sure why that is. I mean, I don't know. Again, if you're Flooring
Oh,
Porter...
well, that's why. Zanahir's hit that
okay,
one.
all right, fair enough. Yeah, the commentators cursed there on Zanahir, I'm afraid, if you're on that chat. If you're Flooring Porter Connections, you're like, right, we don't even know if Bob truly stays the trip, so let's really get him at it, right?
Bob definitely stays 2.5, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, all right, fair
Although
enough.
I would have campaigned him for the champion hurdle last year. Had he been on any other yard, he might have been.
Right,
Yes,
well,
honeysuckle.
we said that yesterday as well. Is he now stuck between, circumstances, basically, Bob? All right, because they've got Aplutard as well, Gold Cup, and they've got Honeysuckle in the Champion Hurdle, so here we are going down the stayers route. When he gets over 3 miles, that'll be a big question for him. But he's going well so far, and the team have been doing well there this week in Ireland as well.
Oh,
Rachel
he's
and
reached for
Henry.
another one, Zanahir.
Is Zanahir just not really popping in then, Batchy? You're very quiet here.
Yeah,
Zanahir's 14s now. He's a big drifter.
just not as fluent as the others. He's just.
When does Bob start to put some pressure on?
Well,
He's
You can see.
basically in 3rd.
Look at that hill. I've never been in Navan. But
Yeah.
I thought the hill was in a
I
straight.
think it's my favourite Irish jumps track. You always get just top racing there, don't you?
Yeah,
Right, it's 3.7, and I've checked out.
checked out at
I've checked
3.7.
out.
Checked out.
Cider Burley looks like he might be thinking about a handicap down the line, I think, because he's just...
He's made up a modicum of ground and then come off the bridle, hasn't he?
Bob's just having a little niggle, little slap down the shoulder there, but just to get him in contention.
Probably. What you want to see is that he's basically got 4 legs that can work after what happened last season, don't you, Keith?
Well, you want to see what happens off the bridle a little bit.
I think he's going to outspeed them, isn't he, here?
Well, we'll see. It's just you want to see what happens when
She's really holding him.
when she goes for things.
Flooring's
she'll
gone.
want to.
Flooring's gone.
Flooring's
Flooring has
found this
cracked.
too sharp.
James
He's-
has timed that very well.
Yeah, this is... I mean, look, Home by the Lee, who looked anything but happy on the far side. He's the only danger now to Bob Oninger. Fair play, I'll tell you what, Henry de Bromhead's shown it with Envoy Allen, hasn't he? And he got called some names, Bob, because...
Yeah, we've told you when the heads up.
Are
Look
you
at the heads up.
suggest- Hang on a minute.
Oh,
Are you,
God.
hang on
This
a
gets
minute.
beat, this.
Are you suggesting
Oh,
he's going to
God.
get gumped? Come on then,
Yeah.
Home by the Lee's
Oh,
justice.
look
Look
at that.
He has jumped it. I'll tell you what, Bob Oninger's just stuck at it. He's going into the paint
No, he's
barrier.
beat you.
Oh, my
He's
Lord.
beat you.
I'll tell you what, this horse, we're going to hear from Mr. Millman in a second. Home by the Lee has outstayed Bob Oninger, who came cruising to the front.
Outstayed. He's outbreathed him.
Come on, this horse had no right to beat the Bob Oninger that we know, do we?
Bob Olinger's got
the
physical
two have gone
issues.
clear.
It's physical issues. It must be.
Yeah, disappointing.
His head come up, didn't
Disappointing.
it?
Oh yeah, the head
Head
went-
come up.
Yeah, nah.
Bubbles burst again. Let's hear from you out there, because we know racing Twitter in particular loved Bob Oninger.
You've got to
Back
be
over
off him,
hurdles
though.
didn't work.
Tell you who was it Johnny Deneen on Upping the Ante?
Yeah.
He looks like a very good signing, incidentally. He was talking a lot of sense on Tuesday's show, and he said this about Bob Oninger. He interestingly said, as soon as a horse does something like what he did at Cheltenham, he never backs them again. Shishkin, he said the same.
You're going to find out in that programme that there are a couple of horses that Johnny is taking on that people love out there this season. Shishkin being the other one. Yeah. So look, again,
I get why if you're a really high rolling punter, I can absolutely see the reason why you wouldn't touch a horse that just blows up for no reason like Shishkin did that day.
well, because you're kind of hoping that they come back, aren't you? And to come back, so that's what it shows you how well Henry de Bromhead has done with Envoy LM, doesn't it? A horse he inherited through strange circumstances and had taken a purling full in the Turners and took a long time to re-establish himself. Now it looks like he might go and win a King George potentially.
Right, in running news, 1,000 to 1 home by the Lee. Because a circuit to go, he was not travelling.
I knew he would go massive. I think I even said in the run, Barry Orr will be over the moon with you. 999 to 1, yeah?
£2.78 at the maximum, and all the way down because he was never going. So they've had an absolute touch, anyone that kept the faith with him. And what do you reckon for the Bob?
They've had an absolute touch.
What do you reckon for the Bob?
What did Bob go?
We'll go down the line.
I'm going to go 1.0, I don't know, 10 something.
Yeah, 10 something. Come on, give us
All right, I wasn't going. I'll go 109 because I didn't think he got as low as that.
And Mr. Orton?
I'm going to say 105 then.
102.
102?
So nearly the minimum.
Oh, my Lord. Well, thank goodness we took that in because a lot's going to be said about it.
Who looked at that horse and thought, did somebody...
Well, there's £15.22 at 1.02 and a 1,500 quid at 1.03.
We're gonna have
Did
to
they
move
not
on,
watch him
guys.
in the spring? Did he not go, there's a chance you won't go out through with it here?
That's wowzer time, isn't it?
Ridiculous.
That's the Lismullen hurdle. Flooring Porter just doesn't have the speed for that trip these days. I think we can say that.
Flooring
A
Porter
little bit
wouldn't have been
disappointed
fit.
with him.
He will not have been fit.
Yeah, I think you put me to that, so the cash out was...
Yeah, come on from that, Flooring Porter.
Right.
He ran out last
He
time.
was running on again at the end.
This chap, he ran out 2 out, owned by the Lee. He's got a top race best rating of 157. Fair play, he's probably run to that, Keith, hasn't he? JJ Slevin, of course, and Joseph O'Brien, who took out the Arkle trial yesterday with Banbridge. Right, we've got to move
So you're
on.
telling me that horse is a bit of a monkey, are you?
Well, I mean,
Run out last time,
on
spat out a furlong out in the Lismullen.
It's not often you see an O next to a horse's name,
No,
is
it's
it?
not these
Sort of
days.
coming in. All right, we've got to go through because it is Keith's reason why he's here.
15 to 8 this thing.
It's full back, right, who looked very much like he was... I thought he was prepping for the Coral Gold Cup, the old Hennessy, when he ran at Ascot on his return. I'm not having him here, but I know a lot of guys out there, the guys in the studio like him. Slipway is one of my projects this season.
I agree with you. I think Slipway, he was, I mean, it was the, people were going to go, oh, it was only the Highland National. But the horses that finished behind them were the right ones.
And he tore them a new one in
Well,
that, didn't he?
he just put 10 lengths into them between
Yeah.
3 out and 2 out. That's not a plodding performance. That was a
And
proper...
it was over 3 miles 6, wasn't he? He was coming to the end of his tether a
The
little bit.
more you chat, the bigger he gets. 9.2 is Slipway. 9.4.
All right. So Slipway for us. James, what are you doing?
It might be a project again because he was laid out for that race at Perth last year.
Indeed, quite. All right, but I think he's a horse that you can follow this season, and me and Keith are doing it. James?
All right, small trade for me, fullback. He's 3.05, £10 win. Southfield could be interesting for Nichols, but he only had 1 run over fences. This slightly bigger field handicap, I know it's an extreme trip. They might just get him out of his comfort zone, run the figure of 8. Mattie will know more about
Mr.
Fontwell
Fontwell,
than me.
we should go to. What's going to win the showpiece?
I'm going with a bit of a bigger price. Red Happy.
Oh, one of the Fergus Wilson. That is...
Pipey.
Only 12s. He's the shortest.
He ran all right last time,
Yeah,
actually.
listen, it was in the Badgerby around Wincanton, which probably, looking at it, maybe a little bit too sharp for him round there.
Yeah, and
He
probably
won
too
at
good a race.
he won at Exeter last the time
Turning
before
in,
that.
he still had a semblance of a chance, didn't he?
I just think Fontwell, the uphill finish will help him, and I just think he offers more value. Fullback, his form, his fourth run behind, his fourth last time behind R Power, who ran well at the festival last year, is good, solid form, and it's the best form in the race. But for a little bit of that, Selfield Harvest, again, agree with what James says. But I just thought that Red Happy just gives you a bit of value.
All right,
I
okay.
did that awful thing with the
We're off
fullback.
and running, guys.
Yep, identified, I can comment as you like, identified...
Oh,
for
please
this.
do.
I will do. They got the paper there in front of us, so they're all jumping the first here.
Spoke too soon, Keithy.
No, they have fullback is gone. He's been bounced out. He was held up at Ascot. Now that looked like a bit of a spin, and it's
course it
proved to
was.
be. Cyclop is there. He's up top. He's only having his 2nd run since last spring. One for these little provincial nationals. He's had lots and lots of good form in this, and I think he's a half brother and his free lad who's got a lot of similar form in these sorts of races. And it's one of the Wilson horses that's also
You're
taking the
unlucky.
lead.
He's got so many of them.
Yeah, I
Rock.
apologise. You can help me out with the Wilson caps, everybody. That would
El
be
Rock.
Because like a dolphin have got
and
runs.
yeah, exactly.
It's,
a rock. And
yeah,
Premium Cheltenham Access has also come out and bounced out in front. Now, this horse is stepping right up in grade, but has always looked like a horse that wants applaud to me. So he's a faintly interesting runner, but I think it'll be in a lesser grade. He maybe has his
Where's
day.
Slipway, Keith? Because the mighty Gomez, you can see, is on him here as well.
Yep, he is. I can't. Is it chunk? It must be a colour
he there?
change.
Yeah, he's in the white and blue. The
Yeah, he's a colour change there, isn't he?
After I say
The
thank
old
God James
Aldenese
Millman's
colours.
here. Oh, it's the Ben. It's what was the good horse he had? That was it. Bright Approach. What was the very good?
He said
novice he
Aldenese
had?
there. We've also got a
Aldenese.
White and
got a
blue.
national winner there. Yeah.
Probably
That-
isn't
that
it?
is
Ben's got
Aldenese's
some of those.
colours,
Is
isn't
it
it?
Aldenese's
I
colours?
think it was very similar to Aldenese's colours,
Blimey.
if it's not. But yeah, so that's.
He's 4.5 anyway. He's a lot shorter than.
Well, he's been bounced out quite
These two are
prominently.
not hanging
there.
about, are they?
No, they're not. I mean, you're assuming they just freewheel this bit. This bit's slightly downhill, yeah, Batch?
Yep.
This is a tee up for your horse, Batchy, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. Now we're coming up to the best fence in jump racing.
It's a great. Sam Hart was saying, as a producer off here as well, he loves this fence, and you can tell
he's
on the
nicked
last
that off me.
on the last circuit, if you jump this one and you're still travelling, you've got a right chance.
This is the best camera angle in jump racing.
Yeah, go on,
and
Adam.
when you wing it, look at it. It's a thing of beauty. Stay there, cameraman.
reckon?
Off. It's beautiful,
I
Batch. I
disagree.
love it.
I reckon it's the ditch at Cheltenham.
Well, a lot
Up
of
the
people,
hill.
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
a
of
good
people would
one.
agree with you, funnily enough.
That ditch down the side at Kempton as well, the camera angle's really good.
Well, I love it when they just change and things are
The
absolutely
second in the
fantastic.
King George.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kempton is a crazy track to watch, isn't it? Right, James.
So they've got the main field here, and Almazar Guard is another one to mention. He usually goes off the front, and he's not today. He was second in this race last year behind Salty Boy, and he's not really been asked to lead today.
Salty Boy, there's a name, of course, absolutely. Changing fortunes. Although the ground is more lively than normal, it's going to be a slow motion finish here, James.
They do not like Bryony and Southwood Harvest. 25s now. I made a mistake at that fence.
Yeah, he was, he bounced out trying to get quite prominent and has settled for a relatively modest position in the field there, so I'm not terribly surprised.
We haven't seen him for donkeys, have we? Still only an 8-year-old, funnily enough.
Oh, fullback, because he's come off the bridle a little bit there.
Yeah. He's gone right. I mean, how's he still only 2-1?
I know, he's not.
happy.
The market hasn't changed for fullback. It's
bypassing
actually shortened.
ones.
Oh, what mean that hole in the fence?
See that?
Wow, they've got a right big hole, basically.
That's
Wow, looks like he's had a
really
haircut, that
That's
fence,
a
doesn't
proper
it?
hole.
Yeah, okay. Almazar Guard keeps catching my eye as well. Lily Pinchin, who's a good rider in these
The market don't like
when he yesterday
that, like
finished,
9.8
yeah.
though. Almazar Guard.
Fullback getting niggled along again, and that was the only thing with Ascot. It looked like a really promising spin for the Ascot run, but it wasn't the sort of run that said, I'm going to enjoy going around Fontwell in 2 weeks, me. Yeah, but that was the only, but he's got course form and he's got form around
Yeah, the in-run and punters aren't, considering the way he has been shoved along, they're not concerned. He's still 3.8, 3.7. He's not got any bigger than that, just hit 4s now.
Cyclop looks to have spat it out. He's right at the back now, having been about 4th or 5th early doors.
All right, thanks, Keith. Okay, so look, because they're not really going to gallop it, fullback's been able to, but he's not really fencing brilliantly, is he?
I see you well would be happier a few miles down the road. He's a Plumpton specialist and he's at the back here. Animal Barati,
Yes.
his form's all out faking him, isn't it? And he tends to get, Almazar Guard's
what was
gone.
that?
Almazar Guard's gone.
Lily
He
Pinchin,
hampered your
she's all right.
Southfield. He hampered Southfield Harvest.
Your new favourite, Slipway, 3.5.
You've got to be getting a bit happy here, Batch, aren't you? Yours are going all right, aren't they?
Oh, I didn't want you to say that.
Django's now making a move.
Tell you what, Slipway
Southfield Harvest is not jumping at all.
No.
He's going in and popping everything.
Slipway's pinged everything, isn't he?
Yeah,
You know,
he's not
Judith
having a car.
Wilson, who of course has these Wilson horses that used to run in the National with no chance of that.
Well, she had 2 in the
One of the
Beach
leading
about
owners
20
out there at
pounds.
the moment in the jump season. I know it's still early days, but
Well, that's because they run once a week.
absolutely quite right. Aggressive
Twice a
campaigning.
week.
They bought loads out of French Cleveland hurdles, didn't they?
Yeah, but they,
A massive stable now.
Unpronounceable horses with form that we have got no idea about.
Well, they tend to do all right in summer, these horses. In fact, this Red Happy was one of them. He sort of blew his mark a bit in summer, didn't he?
I'll be very happy with Slipway now.
No, I am
fullback is
delighted.
2.6. Despite being pushed along into this, he's our clear favourite.
Fullback is still coming back. Despite
Well,
his
his form's really good.
You got the right man on board when horses go like this, haven't you? I mean, he does
True
pick
enough,
them up and
yeah,
make
yeah.
their minds up a bit when they're monkeying about. But he's hardly jumped a fence patch.
Not really, not at all. And when you're on at him like that, then you're going in, you're trying to see your strides, and he's just not really fluent, is he?
When do you know that you've got to start getting on with it at Fontwell? Because it's got going round the figure of 8, round the figure of 8, round the figure of 8.
It's the fence that you love, really. You get them 2 out down the hill because you'll go down there and they are running away from you a bit. So once you've jumped that middle one, that's when you start sort of turning it on, and because that is it's a nice fence. It's on the level.
And what is it about the finish that the ones on the inside on that far rail usually always seem to come out on top, don't they? I know it's such
just
a massive
I think
help.
it's
They
just simple
finally
as
give it up with fullback
they
in the
take
run.
rail. Helps.
26.
Yeah, well, he's dropping
Fullback's gone.
like a
Fullback's
stone.
gone.
Your
He's
Red
not.
Happy is going quite well, isn't he, Batch?
Looks like it could be between us, guys.
Could be.
Red Happy's there. What's this in front then? Still
Premium access still. ICUL's made a few places. Oh, he's hit that one a bit.
Seamus Mullins. Now, what Slipway did, Keith, when he won at Perth, he attacked, didn't he, a long way out?
Sort of where the bend would be here, really, on the fibre sand. And that's sort of where he attacked. He
doesn't want to hit the front yet, though, does he? He's really confident looking at the moment.
The odds on now.
Luca Morgan, of course, who went to some judges' eyes a little bit quick on one and a little bit too soon on one on the Friday card. Hold on to him, Luke. Here we go. Best fencing racing. 4 out.
He's popped that one. It's the first one he's not flown, to be honest. But he must be odds. He's still odds on, sort of 1.6-ish?
1.4.
1.4. So it's one of the... Given the way Fontwell tends to go, you're probably one of these two in front, aren't you? Because it's...
Batchelor's off the bridle.
Batchelor's 23s in third.
Premium access, and he's still on the bridle here, Slipway. Premium access got a niggle there. It's all about how fit Slipway is, really.
It's probably ICUL, but he's probably got
he'll get placed ICUL. He's got lots of form at Plumpton. I think he's got some here, but he's that sort of horse. He's had plenty of goes. Slipway's going to be in front by the time jumping through. Yeah, it looks like.
Luca can't help himself now. He's got to go, isn't he?
No, he's not in front too out.
In there.
He's gone for him, and Premium Access is still responding.
Once had the season.
This will be the last, won't it? This is going to be the last.
Going into it. Up they go.
He's up in front, but he's got the outside relative to Premium Access. So
he can't shake him. He can't shake him at all. And of course, Premium Access has match fitness on his side.
Nah, Slipway's coming now.
Come on, the Slipway, up you get.
He's on the inside here. Go on, Luca.
Come on.
Come on.
We want the inside.
He's still not gone for him properly. He must be confident.
Can't see what that is running into.
Cyclop.
Blimey.
Come on, Luca.
It's all over.
That's it. Up we go.
Boom, bye.
He's been entered in just about everything since the Badger Beer, but they elected to come to Fontwell, and the 2022 Southern National goes the way of Keith Melrose and Dave Orton.
Well done.
Something you never think you'll hear. But Slipway, extremely good, and Luca Morgan there, very, very good. It looked like it was going to be easy, James, but all of a sudden he had to really battle, didn't he?
Yeah, he went 1.2, back out to 3 on the run to that fence they sidetracked. Just asked Mattie. Harry Kimber probably should have stuck a little bit closer to the inside and made him go around him.
100%.
Just, I know he's claiming 5. He's probably not ridden the Fontwell very much, but if you can get to the rail, it does help you finish. Those tired horses, they will keep on galloping it better. Just here, I felt he was in front and he should have made Luca go around him, but I think the best horse won anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think
he was with a circuit to go, says the Gomez.
I think he might. He was the only horse travelling a circuit. Well, apart from the one in front. But I think what you might see is you'll come on for that too. Look how he's got a bit tired up the hill.
Yeah, he's a very well handicapped horse still.
He jumped like a stag.
But you were right about that Perth race. He beat the right horses that day, didn't he? I remember speaking to Kills about this because I fancied him for the Badger Beer, and I said if there's a danger, to Frodo on it might be him. They weren't happy with the ground, and I could see Kills going, it's Perth, in the summer.
That's why everybody's done that. Everybody's gone, it's the Highland National, it's rubbish, and it is rubbish.
But he beat the right horses that day.
That's not the Grand National he's running in today, and he beat the right horses. They were relatively progressive. It was as strong a knot to 135 as you'll get this Perth National.
He can go and have a go at something bigger now. I wonder if he's a horse that might jump national fences down the line as well, potentially.
The way he jumped today, you wouldn't put him off.
Beat maybe next year, something like that.
You expect, given what they did with him at Perth and the fact that they wanted a little bit of soft ground here, but not too much. I don't think they'll go into deep winter with him, will they?
Probably
but it's got to be good. He's run 133 today. He'll go up to near enough 140 off the back of that.
Yeah.
He's into the good ones now.
Yep, there you are. All right, Nafnals no more.
As you probably unsurprised to hear, I take issue with the Nafnal. I know Bruce does, but I'll take Bruce on that as well. It's a lot of these horses that I know very, very well.
A Highland Nafnal, absolutely quite right. And listen, fair play if you stuck with us on that one, and well done to you guys out there as well. Let us know you're out there, guys. You can get involved. Of course, you just have to get in the chat and the boys will put it straight through. Let's hear from you out there. Back to Cheltenham we go. And we start to put the anchor down slightly now on the show. Some fast and
Newsflash,
furious
Dave.
stuff.
The Seagulls are 1-0 up.
Oh, Brighton are 1-0. You'll start chirping up a bit now then. I thought you might have spent all your energy last afternoon I spent with you yesterday. I'm not sure about 48 hours in a row for you, mate. But all of a sudden, Batch is happy again, funnily enough. All right, let's find out what he's going to be happy in this race. After James Millman tells the story of the market and the trade in another long-distance chase.
Well, we've got weakness for the top weight. Does he know? He's now 7.2 third in for Kim Bailey's runner. And if I was going to back him, I'd say I was travelling after the first couple of fences because he's a bit of a nutcase. And Kelso, that early fall...
It wasn't his fault, that.
It wasn't his fault, but it's just not really what you want to see for a horse that has a few issues.
He's not a good jumper anyway, is he?
But he's been weak. He opened up on the sportsbook at 3s. He's now 11-2 on the main market, 7.2 on the exchange. Favourite is the one that's never on a good ground, Fantastic Hoss for the Twiston Davises. They're confident, 4.8. I'm going to go for Back on the Lash, 5.4. That's in the lucky 15. But I think I'm going to lay Fantastic Hoss for a place, because if he doesn't like the ground and gets in behind, he might not figure. He's currently 1.92 to lay for a place. So I'm going to lay him for £20 profit, a liability of 18.40 for Fantastic Hoss to completely blow out, just because he's never ever run on good ground. Always been a bit of ease in the ground. I just worry he might not like it like he did in the Scottish National.
He's a horse that could potentially still be well handicapped, and I would have backed him had they have let it still run at Sandown last weekend, but that was on account of the pudding.
I quite fancied him at Sandown, but they laid him out for that Ultima last year, really, and the Scottish National could have been maybe an afterthought. And it's a different sort of race, the Scottish National. I always think, they do they never get as spread out across the track as they do at Cheltenham, and it gets a little bit.
And he's a prominent racer, isn't he?
He's a
You can't really
prominent
make
racer.
all in the Scottish National.
So we'll see. I don't know what the plan will be with him. It might be that they think this is the day to have a go with him. It tends to be a pretty weak. What was a grade 3? You don't get grade 3s anymore.
We saw Ballyandy on Friday, didn't we? Do exactly what Fantastic Hoss is doing. Would have run on the Sandown card, and then came and Nigel Beattie says a little bit too short. The ground isn't right, but he'll go really well, and he did go really well. He just found it a bit lively.
He's just not a chaser either.
Yeah,
Ballyandy,
that's the
he just
ultimate.
Basically he didn't jump well enough.
All right, is anyone going back on the lash?
That's by choice anyway for lucky 15.
Yeah, you've had 3 sobriety days, and now you're going back on the lash.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's hard to imagine, isn't it? But we can all go there if we try hard enough. Go on, James. Put the trade on. Then is it on?
I've just left him in the lucky 15. And I've laid Fantastic Hoss for a place.
Okay, of course. It's the place lay then for the fav. Barry, you're in with spirit with us. He'd be doing the same, I think.
It's the way to get that horse.
It's just, I think if he doesn't like the ground and he doesn't travel early, I wouldn't lay him for the win, because we've mentioned it's not a great renewal. And I wouldn't be surprised if he won, and that's why he's favourite, but I wouldn't be surprised if he bombed out. And this is a nutter. Does he know? Red Hood.
He's not a great jumper. He's a little rat. He's
8.6. He's a huge drifter.
I know one of the owners of this. You've got to be careful. He's earned a lot of prize money. I'm bringing it back.
He's got a massive engine. Like, he's a properly talented
horse. It's the Yes He Does syndicate, and there's a guy called Dave Shuttler, I know, that's involved with Stuart Evans' yard, and he's got a horse with Kim as well. Very keen cricketer. And he's got this chap, and he fell, didn't he? But no fault of his own, really.
He's just one of these horses that's got this massive reputation.
He ran out in the Challow, didn't it? That's when it all started to go wrong, and that's when they realised he had the old quirk. But he won his first couple of novices on this card, of course.
How many runners? Four and 3 runner races. It was.
I think people expected him to be the next Vindication, didn't they? You know that.
He won at this meeting, or maybe the Showcase. Definitely won at the Showcase last year.
He won at both Showcase and
yes.
But you just knew even then, once the big boys came out to play, he was just going to get found out. And he won the Rendlesham, but not Rendlesham, the Reynoldstown. But if Corach Rambler had stood up, he was beating him by quite a way.
He beat 3 under through 5, didn't he, on his return?
That's another disappointing horse, isn't it?
We'll get to that. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about some of the big upcoming races, and we'll get some anti-post thoughts from the guys. Before we go down the rest of the panel then with tips, James's place laying the favourite. They're not far off coming out. What have we got out there? You are out there. Toon 2020's been with us all weekend and having some great success as well. Great win for the boys in black and white last night, my friend. Mighty Don. MG193 says Forza Milan each way. Lots of football references there. What else we got? Andy Sim, welcome back, Andy. Oh, does he know? Starts my singles doubles. Andy loves to tell us at the start. Again, another successful punter. And then Lawrence Whelan, welcome along, Lawrence. Forgot to ask for me. For Tom George, who's been a bit quiet recently. And Nick Palfrey out there with us as well. Fantastic Ass is a non-stayer. So you're with James. Keith, what are you with?
A little bit like James. I've got there by process of elimination, and somebody put up Mighty Don each way. He was an angle I was thinking of when the horse was 12s, but
yeah, that's price-wise.
And kills.
Yeah, the Price and Keels have both put him up. The price is gone for me. I don't think there's much value in that anymore. He shouldn't be. He's not a more likely winner of this race than Eva's Oscar.
Yeah.
So I've put up Eva's Oscar as a sort of slightly nominal bet, because he has actually got decent handicap form. At this meeting, the December meeting at Cheltenham last year, he finished second to Corach Rambler in a novice handicap chase here. Subsequently won, beating Dr. Kananga, who'd been a very, very progressive horse at Exeter. Sort of horse that now looks this season like he's going to go and run in these big handicaps. I think the Welsh National will probably be the aim again. And at Kelso last time, he jumped the last in 4th, I think, and lost 2 places on the run-in. He'll be much fitter for that. And I just thought in this race, it's not a very weak, not very strong Grade 3 or Premier Handicap as they are now. He's race fit. He's got form in at least as good races looking back. He just shouldn't be double figure odds for me.
Okay, all right. What about you, Batch?
I am going in with Evers Oscar.
Okay.
Just for the simple fact that is all what James, does he know? I don't think this sort of scenario is going to suit him. I think his jumping will deteriorate as it goes round. I like to see horses who've had a run to running this, that comes back on the lash. Out of them two, I just thought Evers Oscar was the better horse out of that. And back on the lash, and he's had a run, so that's why I've gone with him.
Maybe wait a couple of fence as well. He doesn't jump very well, Evers Oscar, but if he pings the first couple, then maybe he'll be a bit more confident.
Just warm to it, yeah.
Seemingly everyone out there is wanting to know what I tip. So I think we've got a social reference to this, guys. This guy knows what he's talking about. Look, is there a better tipster out there than Dave Orton? Hard to imagine.
I'm just trying to read that, make sure you...
Yeah,
hang on a minute, we can all read that.
Make sure it's not Mum Orton.
Hang on. We can all read that.
Your missus been sending messages in again.
Good old Adam.
Oh, God, dear.
I'm on Domain Delisle, if you wanted to know.
Oh,
who had
Delisle, yeah.
no business running over hurdles at Worcester last time. That was a course winner. Brian Hughes on. Good to see Brian. Brian would have fancied runner as well in the Greatwood after this, coming up at 2:55. Off we go then. And back on the lash, who I seem to remember Graham Rodway put up in the cross country. He probably surely would have been in that had they run it on the Friday. Fantastic Cast on the inside. He's a prominent racer. They like to keep him on the inside of the tracks. Evers Oscar for Mattie Batchelor.
Is that more prominent than Evers Oscar's tended to be, I wonder? Indy 5's up on the outside. Indy 5 either leads or huffs out the back, depending on what mood he's in. And he seems to be in a little bit more of a kind mood today because he's in about 3rd or 4th place there.
And Mighty Don is a horse that perennially hits a flat spot, isn't he? And he's got him up there, hopefully getting him interested.
It's normally after he wears a fence, to be honest.
Yeah, Indy 5, the veteran, he's there. Does he know? Now keep an eye on this chap. At least he's got over the first couple of fences this time.
He has, but that's just niggling already.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he is a real funny horse, Indy 5.
Oh,
Got quite a lot of talent, though.
Matty Batch. You want to be disappointed in it?
Oh, no, it's not 1-1.
1-1. Brighton 1-1 the Villa. The Villa have got it back. Look at that basking sunshine.
Forgot to ask out the back, which is maybe a touch of a surprise. Domain Delisle isn't a surprise to be out the back. That tends to be how he's ridden.
Yeah.
Is that Dominateur out the back as well?
Looks it.
He's in. I mean,
forgot
maybe
to ask.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, forgot to ask. He's out the back. Dominateur's first start for Ben Pauling. His horse I quite liked when the Brookses owned him when he was with. He was Sherwood. He was certainly one, and he looked like a horse for these big midwinter handicaps. Hasn't gone on, but maybe not today. So they jumped that one fantastic. Does he know got in tight there?
Tight,
yeah. Absolutely. What sort of mistake was that, Batch? Slow jump, it looked to me. If I was doing the comments, I'd put slow jump.
That fence runs away from you, and they're trapping down to it. You want to either meet it spot on or a little bit long, because it's really hard to go and meet one deep when you're travelling.
You've got to be nimble foot, basically.
Very nimble foot, and he's not. So he's just caught him out a little bit.
I don't know why I did that.
I don't know, yeah.
we all got it. All right, okay. Market update then, James.
Fantastic Cast was slow at that one.
Yeah, markets are pretty solid. The one that's strong is Evers Oscar, now Subbins. That's the only one that's really been backed in the run so far. Everyone is similar to what they were on the off.
I've not noticed any mistakes from Evers Oscar yet, which is not to say.
Why did you say that?
We get that in there. You get double bluffs in
idea
it. You
that
get
a
commentators'
Watch.
The idea that a horse at Cheltenham is going to make a mistake because I said so in a studio in London.
Listen, it's amazing sod's law what it does in racing, isn't it?
What's happens?
It's the biggest thing. I don't know why. Where's Falls and Man? He's tight about as well.
I just about got away with that.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. So Mighty Thunder as well. Where's he? He's out the back. Scottish National winner. It's all got nonsense, isn't it?
Same as one for Arthur was exactly the same. Had a
I thought
massive
they were laying
season.
him out for the National last year. I thought it was that.
I think they were, but his win's gone. He's had 2 wind-ups in his last 4
wind,
starts.
isn't it? That's right, Musselburgh, wasn't it? Do you remember we saw
So he got his win done after Musselburgh,
yeah.
running the National and at Haydock in May, and then he had his win done again. So he's obviously got serious issues now.
All right, Brighton 1, Villa 1. Welcome to Soccer Saturday, says one of our producers. You can keep coming with those. Up to Villa. Mighty, all of a sudden, the Mighty Don is hitting his flat spot, Keith.
He was at the top of the hill. He was. He's been at it for 3 or 4 furlongs now.
Okay.
Forza Milan's still
That's
out the
him,
back. Yeah, it is him. It is definitely him. So
I'm getting a little bit excited by Domain Delisle.
he's made a couple of places, hasn't he?
Yes.
It's hard to know whether that's just others around him not travelling kindly. Mighty Thunder looks to be getting half a niggle already, and again, one for Arthur had that season where he won everything, including the National. Obviously, Mighty Thunder had his season where he won everything, including the Scotland.
You're right.
But both of them barely could raise a gallop the following season. I don't know what it's been. Lucinda Russell's had these horses that have these massive spurts, and then
Oh,
It can be national winners as well, though, can't it? It was, I think, was Many Clouds the first national winner for many moons to go and sort of win afterwards.
It used to be
wasn't it?
literally that was it.
That was it,
Might as
national,
well
and then just
Mighty
go around on tour like
Mighty
Frankie
Don
is
hit
at the
that
moment.
one. Yeah. Open betting shops like Red Rum used to do.
With Tom.
Yeah. So that was a mistake there from the Mighty Don. He's firmly under pressure now, and Mighty Thunder has dropped out completely. I don't know what's happening with him. That's actually quite sad to see. That is really disappointing. It makes me wonder about what happens to Corrick Rambler this year, to be honest.
Yeah, wait to see what happens first.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out.
He went exactly the same trajectory, and it was a terrible run at Carlisle. I mean, obviously it was a spin, but it was.
It was a spin.
You got to pull that up now.
What's that out the back that's gone then? Is that Mighty Thunder looking like he just
Thunder,
doesn't love racing at the
Yeah,
moment?
he's 460. Now, the market is literally Evers, Oscar, Does He Know, Back in the Lash, Fantastic Ass are all very similar.
Does he know's
fives.
flown that
Mighty
one.
Don's such a frustrating horse, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got talent, but
Yeah.
he can't
I bet
go
he
through
runs
with it.
on. I bet he runs on at the end. Dominator, a horse we haven't seen in for ages, bidding to give Ben Pauling a big spin back. He's
There's not a lot
trying to warm up.
There's not a lot of urgency there, is there? I don't think on Dominator.
No, not. But unlike the Mighty Don, who's very
Domaine de
well
Leon's
back,
travelling for you, Dave.
Yes, he is, and this is. I'd love to see
Evers Oscar
Brian
went
Hughes
reach
get a
for
winner.
that.
What? My one.
No, he
was
was
Oscar.
put a big one.
All right, okay.
Got away with it just.
Commentator's curse there. Forgot to ask. He's warming up a little bit as well,
He
James.
is indeed, yeah.
What are we, 5 out?
I mean, he's not a horse that finds a lot, forgot to ask.
He's a bit
5 out.
fiddly there,
Ditch
Domaine
now,
de
innit?
Leon. All
Yeah,
right.
Ditch coming up, best fencing racing this
Best
batch.
racing.
Here we go. All right, we've gone from the one at Fontwell to the best at Cheltenham. And Evers Oscar, creep, James Millman, market up.
Indy 5 still
Favourite top
fancies
of the
it.
hill is our leader, Back on the Lash. Indy 5, yeah, he's going all right. He's 50s though, Indy 5.
When he fancies it, he's a fair old animal when he fancies it, and he seems to fancy it today.
I'll tell you what, he's a little bit. I just keep on watching. I'm like, what's Brian Hughes doing? He's Brian Hughes basically is about 5 lengths off the
He's
the chasing
sevens.
pack.
Sevens in the run, Dave.
Is he? What?
Domaine de Leon.
Domaine de
de Leon.
Leon.
So, yeah,
I'd go a bit
Hey,
bigger
he's
than
trying to be
that.
sevens now.
No,
I'd
he's
go a
just
bit
started
bigger
to
than
stop.
that. Indy 5, the veteran, isn't he going well? Should have been in the veterans chase, of course, on Friday, sorry.
I think he was he not at Sandown as well or
Running an
something
absolute
like that?
blinder,
Yeah, he
really,
is,
isn't
but
he?
he's when he fancies it, he is a real horse.
Look, James is getting excited. Look, fantastic asses.
He's going to be
We're all
third,
still
I
there.
reckon.
We're all
Yeah.
still there.
The doom monger that is. Right, the tricky third last. Over they go. Fantastic Caps was good there. Evers Oscar there. Back
Are
on
they
the
going to
lash.
get past Indy 5? I don't think they are.
All right, let's see what. This is absolutely cruising this
You
horse.
could
Isn't
have
it? It's
got
just the rag
50s
of the
when you
lot.
said he was going.
Stan
Really?
Shepherd.
He's now 3.85.
We know Back on the lash though from the cross country. Look at all of a sudden Fantastic Ass. He's
Go
up
on,
and down on the
stop,
spots.
Stop, Fantastic.
Does
Well,
he
you're gonna
know
get him
trying
beat
the
here,
class
haven't you?
angle? Domaine de Leon nowhere. I think it's just between these top 5 now.
It's going to be very slow
Has he
motion.
gone too
Yeah,
soon,
this is-
Indy 5?
This is going to be a slow finish. Does he know? If we'll find out if he stays here.
Odds
Fantastic
on,
Ass
odds
is
on,
running a
does he know?
blinder, really, considering the ground. He reached for that
he
one.
was Oscar's
Does he
hit
know
one.
goes on with it? They called him all sorts of names on the panel before.
One
but he's
point.
gone
He's,
on the
he's
last.
stopping and all. Look at him. They're
Look
all
at him.
stopping.
I tell you what, but
This
this
is
new
slow.
extreme trip is
Tell you what,
working.
Evers Oscar's not. Oh, no, it's
Back
going
on
to
the
do
lash.
it.
Back
He's
on
going
the
to do
lash.
it right. He's
He's
not
gonna
doing
do
a right
enough.
fight, is he?
Oh, he is. He's
He's
hanging.
running all over the
Come
place.
on, Evers.
Come on, Evers Oscar.
Come on, Evers.
Bassie's not going to pass.
No,
Now
he's
shall
not
not
gonna get
pass.
there. Oh, shall
He
not
finds
pass
a
the
bit
Bats.
more. Well done, Bassie boy, and well done,
The
does he
little
know?
rat does it.
Yeah, he's a wee bit. Look at him. He won.
Unbelievable
He
scene.
tried to throw that away and all.
He did, definitely just amazing what,
Proper
on that
talent,
running, what happens,
but-
isn't it? Oh, all right. You got a little bit excited there. It only took 4 races, but it has happened. And the class angle of the race, I think we can all agree with that. Top weight, Kim Bailey, Dave Bass. Does he know? Yes, he does. Syndicate, loving life. And again, he just is a classy horse. He looked a little bit beat on the far side. Evers Oscar's second, Back on the lash third. James, your place today? It went in.
It did, 5th place. He never looked particularly happy, Fastigos, but luckily for me, they all kept on their feet and he plodded on for 5th. But does he know? Higher 23 in the run. Briefly, he got a little bit upset, but on the whole, that was pretty impressive off a mark of 152, Keith, because that was my question mark in a handicap. He'd done it in the small field novices last year. I know it wasn't the strongest of handicaps,
Well,
but
that's the
still to
thing.
give the weight away was a good effort.
That horse is punching down, isn't he, really? 152 in this sort of company. You know, there's handicaps and there's handicaps, as we've sort of alluded to, and yeah, it wasn't the strongest. He's done well to win. It'll be a mid to high 150s performance.
That's the trouble, isn't it? Now he's going to be even more. I wouldn't be backing
he's
him
ingraded now,
at
races now.
Cheltenham in the festival in the 3 mile. Like last year, where he finished 17th.
Is he in the
can you-
Gold Cup?
He wouldn't be running
Back
backing him up.
Big scary fences at Newbury wouldn't be for him, would they?
They're not scary at Newbury. No.
Send them back.
Cross fence could be another one of the best fences in racing, couldn't it? The cross fence, 5 out of Newbury.
I like 3 out of Newbury. That seems to catch loads out of the ditch. The last
That's why you like it. Carnage at the third last.
Not if you're on Carruthers, it don't.
Yes, okay. And a reminder that Batch will be in for his meeting of the year. We've got Keith with the Ida, of course. We've got.
I'm bringing in the cognac, am I?
You are.
I'm bringing in.
We went for a drink after the show yesterday.
We're drinking. We'll just put it out there.
And we said about the Badger beer, if you win it, do you get it? If John Smith's Cup, do you get it? We're thinking about all these ones. And, of course, you did get some cognac.
Yeah, big bottle.
And you said, well, drink it before we go in, Dave.
We're drinking it before we go in, and everyone who tips the winner are having a shot of...
What a lovely bit of Hennessy.
Couldn't imagine anything worse.
Batch will never... Who wants to see Millman in for that show? Batch will
Millman's
never be
in.
a producer. It's fair to say. All right then, okay. So we've got some more continuing good racing in Ireland going along. Look, we're going to just change up the pace here a little bit because now, of course, we've got 2 more Premiership football games this weekend. And then, of course, it is the World Cup. And here at the Racing Post, as you can imagine, it's going to be tips, betting, coverage, crazy. And no better person to join me, as he did earlier in this studio, Lango, Mark Landon himself. Little change of pace for you then here on Racing Post Live. Thrilled to welcome back. Not your first appearance of me on this show, Lango.
No, it's not. I think I came on and sort of put in a few plugs for the big kick-off back in the summer.
The big kick-off, of course, our season opener pull-out. And here we are, blowing the whistle on the Premiership and the Championship and all that and the divisions because we've got a World Cup in December.
A Winter World Cup. I think it will finish about a week before Christmas.
Madness, isn't
it is absolute madness. I can't get my head around it. The team have been working incredibly hard because obviously the Champions League's been back to back to back. So the midweeks have been crazy busy.
Because they've chopped it all in, haven't they? You know, I support a team in the Championship and we've had more games than normal. It's literally, we're hobbling into this race. Delightful for us Watford fans. But, you know, the Prem's different as well, isn't it? They come back the week before Christmas, don't they? So, yeah, I'm sure you are. And just to let you know, guys, this is all about the pull-out. There's another one coming your way. We know you love these. Lango and his team have painstakingly poured all their love into this. This is it, look, the World Cup betting guide out on Thursday. There'll be a video as well, Lango as well.
Yeah, so we'll be doing the YouTube stuff with Bruce Millington and James Milton on Thursday.
Get the big guns in.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the reserve to you, Dave.
Let's not go. He's still licking his wounds from Palace yesterday, isn't he? Probably
sure
somewhere. Yeah, all right. So, Mark, come on, let's tease a few things then. I mean, look, let's be honest. I'm an avid football fan, as you know. Every time I see you, I think, you know, I always try and get in your brain about what Watford might do. If you don't know, Mark Langdon is our doyen of the football betting world. He leads the team. I'm sure most of you do, and you've backed all his tips, of course, successfully. But up until last week, I wasn't sure that USA were even... I didn't know it was in our group. It's so weird, isn't it?
It is weird. I think that the build-up has been low-key. The fact that Premier League teams were still playing the weekend before is crazy. I mean, obviously, it is a very different World Cup. I'm sure once it starts, though, all the questions about why in Qatar, why now in Qatar, I think they'll disappear because... The World Cup, it transcends sort of football. It's bigger than football. It is just so many memories. It doesn't matter, we were talking off air about Maradona's hand to God in '86, but whether it's Paolo Rossi's iconic celebration, Gazza's tears, Roberto Baggio's tears 4 years later.
It's a World Cup.
It's a World Cup. You sort of almost plan your life in 4-year cycles. I might have 4 or 5 World Cups left. Somebody was saying to me earlier on. So I absolutely love the World Cup. I think it is. The Champions League is the best football, but the best tournament. When Costa Rica play Japan at 10 a.m, normally you just wouldn't watch it. It's the World Cup. It's unmissable. It's Japan against Costa Rica.
From a betting point of view, I work with sponsors like this show's Betfair. So much budgets have been this year going towards it. Everyone's putting, the red carpet out now, aren't they? And just from a little look, on some betting comparison sites, you look on the sports, but there are a lot of markets. So first questions, who favourite to win it?
I think Brazil are the favourites, and they deserve to be favourites. And that doesn't mean they will win and they're a great bet, but they definitely deserve to be favourites.
You're not tipping them, Lango, are you?
I'm going to keep it secret. I'll keep it secret.
All right, okay.
But I think when Brazil named their squad, there was gasps from people going, wow. People thought England had a stacked squad, but it's nothing on what Brazil have got. You just look at the quality with Neymar, Vinicius Junior, as 2, I think, real standout players. Yeah. The goalkeepers, they've got Alisson and Ederson. Alisson will start. Marquinhos plays for Paris Saint-Germain. Militao plays for Real Madrid. There's a lot of talent in that Brazil.
You're talking me round to this as a tip, Lango.
Well, yeah,
4
but
to
then
1 looks a bit of value all of a
but
sudden.
then if I start telling you about Argentina's team and the fact that Messi is in the absolute, if not the form of his life, because I think that was probably Barcelona, he's back to a level that puts him right up there with the very best players around at the moment. And then Argentina have been by far the best back team. We're talking about a side that was 10, 11 to 1 in the summer. They're now going off 5 to 1, 11 to 2. So they've definitely been the gamble of the tournament so far, unbeaten in 34, 35 matches. So they arrive as the South American winners. So you might not be able to tell now whether I'm going Argentina or Brazil or somebody else.
I think you might be going to Copa America, I think, at this rate. I think he's after a ticket anyway, isn't he? So, look, all right, let's get into the mind of Lango then, all right, because a lot has gone into this, and you were telling me off air that you've got a bet for every team.
Exactly. So within that 80 pages, we've done every sort of journalist has been assigned a batch of teams, and you had to go through every market available and find the best bet for that team. Because I think what we found is that a lot of the words will be on Brazil, Argentina, England, etc. But you'll just get something on Saudi Arabia that says, going out early or something, and that's it. But we don't want that. So we've tried to come up with a bet for Saudi Arabia. We've come up for one for Costa Rica. We've come up for one for Brazil as well. So yeah, there's a lot in there. You've got your outright betting, of course, your top scorer, player of the tournament, all the stuff you'd expect. But I really think that those sort of a bet for each nation, is something that we've not done before, and I'm looking forward to sort of people reading it and picking out a few for themselves.
Absolutely, England versus Wales, of course, will be a massive game, won't it? Absolutely. So look, it's not quite as we know it, but the pullout is free. It's on Thursday. You're also doing a video, so if you want to know all more details, that's when you get involved with that. That'll be outstanding stuff, and the guys with Mark as well. But for RP Live viewers now, come on, give us a little something we can get stuck into now.
Well, I'm going to go for Canada to finish bottom in their group.
Are they playing?
They are. Right, so there's a lot of hype around Canada because they've got Alphonso Davies, who plays for Bayern Munich, and Jonathan David, who plays for Lille. So I think people look at that and they see, all right, well, there's two real standout players there. The rest of the squad, to me, looks weak. We'll say weak on air. I could go for something stronger, but I won't.
Back to the ice rink, you're hoping,
right. So I think they're weak, and they're in terms of that bottom spot, they're up probably against Morocco. I think Belgium and Croatia will finish first and second. Morocco have got a lot of sort of solid players in there. Hakimi plays for Paris Saint-Germain. You look at Ziyech, who doesn't play every week for Chelsea, but I think he's got real talent. He is, he's just somebody that's fallen out of love, I think, with Chelsea, and maybe likewise, them with him. El Nezeri has been scoring goals in the Champions League for Sevilla. So I think all round their team looks to me to be much stronger. And so there's a bit of odds against there. One at a massive price. I'm not giving too much away here. If you like Argentina and you like Messi to do well, obviously it's a related contingency, the double, but you can get the win cast. So Argentina to win and Messi to be top scorer. I think if one happens, you've got a fair chance of the other one. It's 40 to 1.
Is that right?
And that might give you a
you think it'd be a bit more obvious than that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think that's a fun bet for someone that wants to cheer something on at a big price.
Like me. That's exactly what I want. Okay, so Canada to finish bottom. You heard it here first. But on Thursday, here it comes out. They've been sweating blood, sweat and tears. This is Sunday service, as you know, here on Racing Post Live. And Lango and the football team are in. You wouldn't believe it, would you? It's always great to have Mark in with us, and honestly, so much work has gone into that. And Mike Gomez, who's getting loads of love out there from us today, great socials coming in then. Harry Kane for the Golden Boot. I think it's Fav, isn't he? 9s or something like that, I saw. Hat-trick against Iran to get things off to a flyer. Argentina to win. Messi's swan song. Yeah, Mark was quite effusive about. He said to me prior to doing that, he goes, I better not give my tip away, had I? And he pretty much just talked up Argentina throughout it all. I think if he's not doing that, never play poker with a man, because he's pretty much deplored everyone to back it. But Canada's come last in their group. That was a tease. And on Thursday, you get the video that will be done. Bruce is coming in as well, James Milton, all the big guns, and then an unbelievable pullout coming your way, free in Thursday's Racing Post. You better get it digitally as well. All right, QVC bit out of the way.
I might need that pullout this year.
I sense you might.
I mean, I've used to follow football a lot, but I've the last couple of years just been falling out of it entirely. So I'll need the pullout.
Who do you support?
Hearts.
That's why then, isn't it?
Oh, you wouldn't. What have Hearts done the last couple of years? What was the last Hearts game you were aware of?
The heart of Midlothian. I once saw them play a friendly at Watford. They came down for a friendly once at Watford. Friendly bunch. Friendly bunch.
Nobody's away fans put them in a good light, do they?
Not really, no, I don't think so. No. All right, it's still 1-1, is it?
Still 1-1, yeah.
Brighton Villa. All right, yeah. Are we looking forward to the World Cup, James? There's no point in having this conversation.
No.
You know what? I'm usually anticipating it, but now I'm not.
No, I think a lot of
I think
people
the
like
time of
that.
year's just got me.
Well, this is unique, isn't it? And yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
there's a 3-mile chase at Newcastle, lads.
You'll be doing. I was going to say you'll be doing Santa Claus down the pub, when you won't be watching. You won't be watching England, Iran, all that sort of thing. Yeah, I could see you being good Santa Claus, sort of like down at a local school or something like that.
No, I'm not that old yet.
More of a Bob Cratchit or a Scrooge type character.
Bob Cratchit. He was a good guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, we all know who's Scrooge. You'd be brilliant. We'll
be
get you with the
brilliant.
hat with the little, like the little sleeping hat, the gown and all that sort of thing. You'd be absolutely. You wouldn't be Jim Carrey, would you? More like Albert Finney, I think. But yeah, all right, great stuff. All right, let's bring it back, shall we? We've got a bit of time now. It is the Greatwood coming up. And thank goodness for that, because along with the Southern National, which was a belter of a handicap, this is too, isn't it? Playful Saint doesn't go, Current Mood doesn't go, Castle Gandolfo also out. That means that 13 go to post. We could just see some very good horses fighting this out, James Millman.
Yeah, we could indeed. Gin Coco is a pretty warm favourite though for Harry Fry. 5.4 is our favourite. A little bit weak is the Nichols horse Son Nagino, who Paul had to run again because last year he had to be 130 to sneak in the race. So he only went up £4 for winning at Chepstow the first time. Paul went again. The handicapper said, "Oh, you went a little bit too easy. I'll put you up 8." Reality was he would have got in off his old mark. So he's a little bit frustrated yesterday. I saw him get interviewed that the mark had risen, and he has been a little bit weaker. He's 8.4. Dazzler, the Mullins runner, also 8.4. 10s for a different kind, and I like to move it, which is my choice, 10.5. Second in the Betfair last year. He's got form around Cheltenham on quick ground, unlike Fantasticos. So I'm with a Twist and Davis run on this occasion. £10 win at 10.5.
You've got the 3 horses that have done it without a prep run coming in this race. West Cork last year, and it seems as the old, since the old days. And who else was there? Let's have a little look down as well. North Hill Harvey, very good. Another Skelton runner, and a Loffy for Tom George, who somehow took this out in 2012. Other than that, a prep race come in. That won't bother. I like to move it. Top weight as well.
I saw a replay. Apparently, it was 20 years since Rooster Booster.
It was, yeah, 20
20
years. With that as
years.
well. And that's what the Greatwood's missing. We've got none of these really are going to be champion hurdle
I like to move it as a top weight. He's the lowest rated top weight for years and years off 142.
Did we know that Rooster Booster was a champion hurdle horse at that time? I'd wager not. He was second. He was a horse that kept finishing second.
No, he got quoted. I remember watching it on the telly. He definitely got champion hurdle quotes.
I was there.
Are we there?
I actually went.
You're probably in a box. All the stories you tell.
I was actually.
He never goes anywhere apart from a box.
The box.
It was a hell of a day.
Here we go.
He was literally the box taker.
It was absolutely knock him out of his box. I was at a memorial, I remember, and we had like one of the big bars there, and we pretty much went through the card. And
I'm just thinking the joint now.
You're saying he wasn't a champion hurdle horse at the time. What handicap mark do you think Rooster Booster won it off?
155 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, spot
he was
on.
thrashed in the county hurdle prior to that. He was a horse that kept finishing second. He was a second Itis horse, and then he took off after this race and went and won that year's
No, he took off after winning the county.
After winning the county, but he was second in the previous year's county. I remember it very, very well. I mean, it's only 20 years ago. I mean, I cannot believe that's 20 years ago that Winestone Cowboy won the bumper. But again, I wonder whether there might be something lurking that could move up the gears. We know what James thinks. He thinks, no, top weight will just win this. I like to move. He won on this card last year. He was an early season.
One at this meeting, I don't know if it was this card. But he won at the October meeting here too.
Yeah,
he beats I've forgotten his Tritonic. He beat Tritonic at the showcase.
He was prepping
meeting.
for this, wasn't he? Tritonic that day. Yeah, of course. And was it a horse of Skelton's, was in it as well, from memory as well. Anyway, all right. Alan King's got a great record in this, and I may as well just start it off. I had this down to 3, actually. I like a different kind. I backed him earlier in the week after that Aintree comeback. But I do think that if there's one unexposed horse in here that might just make the step up, it's Harbour Lake, for Alan King and Tom Cannon. Like him a lot. Every time he stood up, he's won. And I don't think he was totally cherry right when he won at Market Raisin. Now, admittedly, that is a big step up. But a mark of 135, I think he's better than that. And I have been told that they very much like his chances here today. He's also got Nina Terrier in there as well, isn't he? Nina Terrier, who fell when trying to mount a challenge behind Molly Ollie's Vicious at Weatherby last time out. And the other one I liked as well was Sonagino. Now, so that's the one I like. Sonagino, Keith, let's come to this. This is anything but Irish preparation for a handicap, this is it.
Well, yeah, I mean, Nichols has thought I need to get him higher in the weights to get in, and he was safe. He's got him in.
Has he shown his hand too much, is what I'm saying?
The way he's progressing, I'm not certain he has, But he's shown £10 more of his hand than he needed to
He
necessarily.
cost a lot of money and disappointed last season.
But Nichols has a few of those that you can write off one season, and then the next season they come back and they're all of a sudden they're a bit of a monster.
Maybe
Pig
a bit of
Doherty
a
did that
wind.
when he went over fences, and he gets quite a few.
He says he's changed the feed. That's his.
Is that right?
For this season, he said that he was never happy with how they were looking, especially in the spring last year, and it has kind of been proven. A lot of them have seemed to improve 10 to 14 pound for the summer break, and he's certainly hit the ground running.
He certainly has.
Well, whatever he's having, it's Weetabix, isn't it? So he's rocking and rolling. Do you like him at all, or has he shown his hand a bit too much?
It's 133 trying to win a great wood, albeit it's a great wood that's not as strong as some could be. I had a quick look at your pedigree and your Harbour Lake. He's bred exactly, you'd expect a Hemmings horse to be bred. He's a staying chaser in the making, him. So it's quite impressive that he's shown
quicker
this
than
much.
you're expecting him to be.
Well,
this
no,
horse.
he's a Shantou and his dam's a half-sister to another rum.
You're absolutely right. On Tuesday, Wednesday, when I was looking at him, and I thought, hang on a minute, this is interesting. I expected him to be on my is he quick enough radar. Watched back a few members' clubs. He's not sluggish at all, this bloke.
Yeah,
It has been 2.5.
Yeah, of course he has, but he's a 2-miler. This is what I think he will be over fences as well. I'm
he
pretty
could be
sure
2 mile odd ultimately as well.
it's you get bogged down by looking at these quartered colours, don't you? And thinking of nationals and things like that.
That's why I used to buy them, wasn't it?
But they they
Yeah,
do
if they're not a
occasionally have
national
the
horse,
fast
they've
ones.
failed.
Yeah,
ultimately,
exactly.
for the Hemmings.
Yeah, you wouldn't buy them.
What was the horse of the Hennessy he had? The very good one. Oh, began with T. Oh,
Travolgan.
Yeah,
Travolgan.
Fitz.
He's got that kind of profile for me, but whether I think he's quick enough. So I put him on top of different kind of Sonagino. Tip, please.
Yeah, because it's not the greatest sort of renewal, the great wood. I just thought the mark that Dad's Lad was on over hurdles relative to fences. He's not a horse that is. You won at Cheltenham, sure, and over fences of 135, which is £7 higher than his hurdles mark. So he's already won off a £7 higher mark this year, and he isn't one of those horses that needs fences to be much better. He is the sort of horse. He's already won a 1.5 maiden this summer. He won it at Galway, with some good horses in there actually behind. Some really speedy and relatively classy 2-miler, certainly horses you would back in a great wood of 128.
Yeah.
So I just thought Dad's Lad was. He's drifted a bit since I looked at him on Friday there, and I just thought he had a really good chance in this race.
Very versatile horse, isn't he,
Yeah,
obviously?
and he's obviously got a lot of speed. He's not just a 2-mile chaser that is not going to be as good a hurdler. He's not Ballyandy, but he's got the speed and he's evidently on a good mark. I just thought he was really solid.
They were saying it was an unbelievable ride by Brian Hayes because he was hanging, he wanted to hang quite violently towards his left, and he was really tugging onto the reins. He probably has got the odd quirk or two, but it's Mullins, isn't it? And he's looked solid in the betting. What does Matty Batch like?
Yeah, I like Dad Lad. I thought he was well treated over hurdles. I like to move it. It was good second in the Betfair hurdle. Sort of fell short in the county, but I do like Gene Coco.
You were nodding when James said that. I saw you.
Yeah, but I think I do like Gene Coco. 6-year-old, low mileage, come back off a 17-month absence and won well at Fontwell, and then they took him over to Punchestown, finished second, improved again, and then had a good win at Newton Abbot for its prep run. So I think everything's pointed to say they've got him ready for today.
He likes to go to Newton Abbot with a good horse. Metier.
Yeah.
Well, did Metier win a good
Metier won on November handicap for Sappho Osborne.
And Jonathan Burke is on a high-profile hat-trick, of
And Harry
course, having won
Fry's
the Paddy
runners,
Power and the
I think
bumper.
his last 6 or 7 runners have not been out the free. He had a winner at Kempton.
Let's have a look.
So I think they're running well.
He's not run many because
No, he's not run many, but they've run well.
Yeah, 1, 3, 3, 2.
We were asking about his form going into Aintree last week.
He's only run 4
then.
since the November handicap.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a trainer that you don't really associate with having a sticky time, but he did, of course, going into Cheltenham a couple of years ago. But he's a good trainer, Harry Fry.
Yeah, he runs them infrequently, and you sometimes feel that maybe there's times when there's horses that the best don't get out of them because of the way he trains and his MO, but he is very good.
What about the betting on 1,000 Tiers? This is mental, isn't it?
Cool, nobody wants it.
Who is bidding to be the shunter Mark II for Emmett Mullins, and the bookies, it's fair to say, went dark.
When an Evan Mullins horse goes one way or t'other in the market, you follow, I think.
Well, this is literally like it's lost a leg.
There's only 3 at a big price now, and that's
That's
in the
incredible,
Terrier,
isn't it?
First Impression, and Ngolo.
Was that not favourite at Dex?
Yeah. 4-1 on the sportsbook. 1,000 tiers.
Because it's Paul Byrne and it's Emmett Mullins, you know, and it's not been with Emmett that long.
It didn't run very well in the first start for the yard.
You can't see it on paper, but they do say he wants the bouncy ground. That's probably why he's coming here. And Aidan Coleman's on, but it is like you say, cannot give it away. Only N'Golo, who's
Well, if he wants a bouncing ground, they're probably laying him out for the Galway hurdle, aren't they?
well, we were about to find out. But you do want, I mean, if you've backed this anti-post, how many of you out there have done so? Let's find out what you are actually backing out there, shall we? And get some socials up on the screen. Here we go. Sammy Hart putting them through for me. Martin Lewis, welcome along with Keith. Daz Lad, hard held.
Does the exchange give you one of those for James? Can you get hard held on the exchange?
Hard held is not quite an
Choose your
option.
difference.
I like
Hard
that.
held.
Good feature. Good feature. Hard held button.
You have got 3, 4, 5 or 6 place options on the exchanges to choose from though.
You know, we've got length in your odds and all that sort of stuff. Hard held, I like it, absolutely.
Give Barry a shout, yeah. Can we get hard held
I
on
like it. Connor Riggs says N'Golo each way. Is he big price?
He is the outsider. He is a huge price. Bearing in mind, Patrick Neville's had 2 runners today. Winner the first that went up to 10-1.
And he won a Swinton.
And that
He won a Swinton
last time we saw him. He said he's
Mullins
fitting well.
Rich Ritchie.
4 places in the sportsbook.
I mean, the horses, generally horses leave Mullins that are never seen again.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
quite
rare.
right.
It is rare.
He was
that
something of an underachiever, I think, for Mullins, wasn't he? But, I think that he sort of ran through the summer a little bit. Jake Galloway, good to have you back, Jake. And he says, I really like Severance here. And N'Golo as well at a price each way. Perhaps we could see that coming in now. Severance. Did you mention Severance to me, James?
I didn't, but very consistent. Just doesn't win.
F-Knock Fizz, wasn't it, last time?
Yeah, so it's
And just off N'Golo. So you're thinking the Swinton form, Jake, is the one to be with, I guess. Al Parks. Now, remind me, Al Parks, so you are Melburnian out there. Toasting the English cricketers down there, hopefully, at the moment. And might do a 2-pronged Cormier and Harmer Lake. Now that would be Sod's Law and egg on face with Dave Orton, because I think I've backed Cormier every time when he hasn't won over hurdles. And I backed him in this race 2 seasons ago, thinking I've found one here. Very progressive on the flat, won't mind the ground. He just gets too far back in his races. But Brent Bromley is quite an interesting jockey booking.
Taking the 7. I just thought his flat form could be better recent starts.
He's been nibbled at, hasn't he? Looking at the market.
14 solid.
There were tumbleweeds there.
4 places on the sportsbook.
The Racing Post card, are you looking at the RP card? Because
Yeah,
that's telling me he was 22 a few shows ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would have been 48-hour Dex time. And again, you just get the feeling they do think there's a good one in him. He has one here, of course.
I mean, he's got 95 form on the flat, hasn't he? So
Yes, yeah, really good horse.
you must see him at home and think, Christ, that'll win good hurdle races.
It might even be a bit lively for him out there, believe it or not, which not often we say about flat horses, but a different kind for me in the Greatwood. And it's just good to see Brian riding here, Keith, isn't it? I've said it since Friday. You know, all through what annoyed me a bit last season when it was a Cheltenham Festival and everyone's going, "Why is Brian at Sedgefield?" and things like that. You know,
well, it's because that's the way the jockey's title's decided.
But it is good to see him at a big meeting, right?
Because
it's not just entry.
If Carlisle was on today, he wouldn't be here.
Yeah, you're suggesting he would have been at Carlisle.
Where was it Weatherby yesterday for?
Yeah,
he rode on Friday though, didn't he?
Cheltenham and Fontwell today. Cheltenham was his local track today.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I suppose it is. Typical quizmaster. Arnon Gurung comes on. Arnon, how are you? And Cormier, God knows why those odds. What do you mean? Should be shorter, you mean, obviously. He's a talented horse, and Ben Bromley, £7 claim. I wonder how many times he's ridden for Ellison before. I'm about to find out.
I'd say 0.
I'm about to find out. Let's have a look. You think this will be his first ride?
I think it'll be first.
It's Anthony Bromley's son, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of High Flyer, Supremo. Ellison. Oh, no, he's had 2 rides.
Oh, failed on that one.
Gubbed. One, Punxsutawney Phil, who ran actually yesterday on the card, and Gordon's Jet. So he's a second ride as well. But he's a talented young man. He's actually 41% strike rate for Paul Nicholls, Ben Bromley. Says my Raceform Interactive. All right, Gin Coco then, still heading the market. He could have run in the novice race, couldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Farrell Fry tends to be quite patient with his horse. He doesn't mind throwing a novice in a handicap, does he?
No, no, absolutely not. It's almost like...
Good, more of it, I say.
Yeah, you think so? We should see more novices in handicap. We used to see it a lot, didn't we?
Yeah.
Chasing we do, because they just destroy the
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get really nerdy here, but
here we go.
See that handicapping thing?
You want to go and put the kettle on?
You see the handicapping story that came out in the week about how they had the review, and they've now looked at the review again at the BHA, and I know he's trying to do this to me again, but they noticed they've got the hurdle ratings where they want them, but the chase ones haven't followed yet.
Right.
So all these horses that can go from novice hurdle straight into handicap chases,
yeah, they're well in.
They're going to be massively well in, because they're starting off. The average one's £7 lower than it was 18 months ago, but the chases are still rated the same.
Perfect.
They should stop that, I think. You probably say no.
Well, you've got the 3 runs to run in a Premier handicap chase as such. It's young master. Well, I would agree. They've got to go to a novice handicap chase first for me, rather than into a
novice handicap. Okay, I'll accept that as a
as a group. They're all.
The idea that those two divisions tack to each other the way that makes out is incorrect as far as I'm concerned.
This has got your goat.
It's got my goat for years. Mostly because I'm doing chases and I'm looking at these novice handicaps thinking, interesting race.
Are you sticking around to do the front page tomorrow?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so you can get, there you go, as one of your headlines.
Oh yeah, I've not got a story.
There
for
you
that
go.
Yet. That's mine. It's the BHA handicap.
It's a rant show. It's perfect for Keith.
Oh, it's a rant show, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Rant.
You can't rant it up. That's what we want to see. Who's on that with you tomorrow?
Stu Riley and Lee Motters.
Oh, because Stu was a bit. Him and DJ had a little bit of a tete-a-tete, didn't they, Stu?
Did they?
Yeah. So Stu Riley tomorrow, Lee Motters said that'll be a good front page. That's our Monday show here at the Racing Post. You can check that out, of course. Around about 3 p.m.
Can't think that'd been a great Woodfield, can you? Seen them circling at the start. It looks like a
full.
slightly bigger than average handicap.
Did you
doesn't
ever?
it?
You must have ridden in the Greatwood, have you, Batch?
I don't think I have. No.
Really?
No.
There's a spotlight nap is Cormier as
Yeah,
well.
he's had a go. I assume when it's a big price and a big handicap, it's Ben Hutton that's done it.
Yeah, you are absolutely spot on as well.
Ben loves
Northern
a big swing.
Yeah.
I reckon we might have an hurdle out, you know.
Oh, another one. We
Sunshine.
Is it the last again? Looks like it.
Could
Does
be.
it?
That would
the
be
last?
two
That's
out.
Rio, isn't it?
Is it? So we're battling with low sun again, I'm afraid.
Market is strong for yours, Dave. It was a price-wise horse, a different kind. He's now just about second favourite.
He was
on
around
the
about
exchange.
16s when it opened up, purely because he's a northern horse and not just because it's McCain. He's just not the sort of horse that wins this race, is it? But he was highly tried last year. He went to the top novice hurdle, didn't he? And
he was second at Aintree.
I think the
his
stiff 2
comeback.
miles will be right up his straight here. He looked like he was going to win last time. And again, 5-year-old that's probably better than a mark of 136. I think we've got lots of progressive horses here. Have we got that champion hurdle horse?
Probably not. But Don McCain's he just needs that big winner or two down south for people to realise again that he's actually back.
Well, he was numerically the best trainer out there last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, and that's what he was doing, for most of the early 2010s.
Yeah, prior to the Rooney
build back.
split.
Yeah.
Has he really got that standout horse?
That's the trouble.
Well, it's because he's not got the Rooney. The owners on.
No, that's it.
And there's a little bit.
Long time since they're like a peddlers, isn't it? And
Well, Tim Leslie, he's not got the money to compete.
No.
But we talked about Brian Hughes, but Harry Cobden, I remember he rode at Fakenham on the Friday last year at the festival, and people saying, where's Bryony? But Paul didn't have enough horses for Harry to ride, never mind to have a number 2 jockey get rides at the festival. For any UK-based jockey, the Irish yards aren't going to use them. So that there's no spares, there's nothing really going for them to be riding.
That's been the sort of the path of the course, isn't it? Whereas before, there'd be loads of spares about.
Yeah, well,
as jockeys,
Mick Fix, AP, they would ride for the Irish trainers, but now they don't.
And on normal days of racing, as a jockey looking at the paper, you could always a Saturday meeting. There's sort of 3-4 meetings there. I've picked up some good spares for some good trainers you'd never ride for, but then all of a sudden now, in the past 7 or 8 years, you'd be looking at the paper. I'm definitely not riding Saturday.
I think
The
every
flat boys think exactly
every
the same.
trainer's
It
got
comes
their
down
own
to numbers.
team of jockeys as well. They have their second and possibly a third string jockey that's in all the time. So the spare rides, no matter how good you are, they're just not existing.
You see the jockeys now riding.
the last is out as well, by the way, guys.
Yeah, you see the jockeys riding now. They either attached to the yard or they're in there. You very rarely see.
Would this not help Cormier? Talking about how
I was thinking that.
Your
Just
flat
bearing in
horse.
mind
The flat speed
horse
is
and
not-
Severance as a flat horse. What else? 1,000 Tears.
Jim
First
Coco
impression.
is a jumper. If you've taken the short odds 5.1 now, jumping is the name of the game for this horse. Whereas some of the flat horses, what have we got now? Batch 6 furlong run, 5 furlong running, 6 furlong running.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the one on top of the
It's
hill.
not
yeah.
really
Don't ask him.
for a hurdling test. It's not.
Did you
gonna
ever
be
ride a
hurdling
circuit
test.
short or anything like that?
No, I didn't, Dave. No.
It was unbelievable, that Neil Callan affair, wasn't it? Kent, from jockey of that
It was
calibre.
slow as well. It was struggling to get to the front. They had to really drive it to get past a couple.
He put his hand straight up, didn't he, in fairness? Group 1 winning jockey again
Well, he
this
had to,
season.
didn't
Well, you
yeah,
can't
of course, but, fair
Do you
play.
remember when Sam Whaley Cohen?
He did, but he tried to front
That was
out.
bad.
Tried to
When
front
he
Faking
out.
him.
when he
And
tried
faking him, do you
yeah,
remember
when he
that?
tried to make an excuse. That he was
Oh,
making
and he
noise.
come out on the TV. It was just, and
You were all like, the waiting room was going crazy,
oh,
was it?
the next time I saw him, I went, Sammy, this is gonna, because like he's a dentist, and I said, Sam, this ain't gonna do your business any good. I said, why that? I said, well, someone's gonna come in saying you need a root canal. They're gonna say, do I really?
You got a bit too soon there, Governor. I think I'll take my chances. All right, okay.
He was just trying so he could ride long run in the King George, wasn't
he
it?
missing it by one day, and that was the reason.
Okay, and Golo is being messed around at the start a little bit.
He's been causing issues all the way along.
He looks a
in
little bit
Golo.
quirky, doesn't he? I've got Sam in my ear, but I can't hear him very much. Oh yeah, we've got a social up on the screen. Ben Blackmore, I back Cormier at big prices. Ben's clipping up for us today. Benny Blackers on the Cormier. Look, love for Cormier out there.
Well, just the fact that it is effectively.
It will be egg on face if it wins for me this horse. Like I said, I've given up.
You've given up.
I've given up.
I will be cheering him
Given up.
home.
Yeah, we'll be.
This annoys me. I don't know why he didn't let him go then.
No, I was a bit the same there. I mean, your grey was a little bit sidey on-ish, but
they're all
not
coming
really.
forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think they
And
should
is
have
that
let
not
him
going to be a nasty chicane to jump off and squeeze?
It's a bit further than it looks.
It's not quite as bad.
It's not as close as it looks. There's a bit of room there.
We haven't mentioned Marker Gold, have we, guys?
That was the other price-wise one. He's not that strong on the exchange now. I think the 4 places they're probably taking advantage of. He is 26.
I'm surprised at Gary's.
Loves this race, didn't he? He's won it loads of times.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. You rode his winner, didn't you? Not actually in the race.
Old Numid when he came to us afterwards.
Yeah.
The old rascal. Ngolo is not looking particularly enthusiastic on the front
It's a bit
end.
messy, all this, isn't it? A bit
Well,
messy.
they should have let him go, David.
As soon as you bring them back, it gets messier. I've never seen
Dad didn't like it. I like to move it. Doesn't seem to know which way to
Sammy
point.
wanted to be very handy, and now he's taken a big turn, and he wants everyone else to take a turn.
See, look. Yeah.
Because Sammy's not going to be one at the back on I like to move it.
All right, we've got a novice coming up to end the card and the show. What a show it's been this weekend. Thanks for staying with us. If you're still with us out there, myself, Dave Orton, Mattie Batch, Keith Melrose and James Millman. Still got one more to go, and we've got plenty of time to talk in between this and the last, so we're going to try and mix it up a little bit, maybe review the meeting. What's coming up? It's one of these lovely time of year. We get bang, bang, bang the weekends, and bang, 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 they're finally off and running, and I like to move it, go straight to the front. The top weight and James Millman's selection, followed by Sonagino. Harbour Lake up there as well with his stablemate Nina the Terrier. A different kind, one of the gambles in the race. A little bit keen with Gin Coco, the novice, in midfield. Marker Gold on the inside. 1,000 tears, goodness gracious me, nothing keener than that. Cormier, which everyone seems to fancy, bar me, out the back with Dad's lad, Keith Melrose's fancy. First impression buried away. And it's fair to say, Keith, that Sonagino's trying to get on with it.
He is, well, he's pulling quite hard, isn't he? And 1,000 tears behind him. Well, not if he keeps going like that.
That's what you would call pulling hard if you were doing a close-up comment.
No, it's not horrific, but he's pulling, and you don't want to see
I
that.
have this all the time, John.
I mean, they're going 34 miles an hour, which, as we know, is not a bad gallop, actually, believe it or not, but they're all concertina, James.
They are. The market's not particularly changed
There's
at all.
still a few pulling as well.
That's funny, isn't it?
I'd say, just a pretty steady pace because they've not jumped one. They've not had that breather over the obstacle yet.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, two are going at it then up top, and they don't learn, do they, these British riders and these handicaps?
What do you mean?
Well, they just like Sammy and Harry and that. They just get on with it, don't
Well,
they?
Well, they're all in a big group. No one's gone clear.
Did anyone think Sonagino would be leading at this point?
No, I mean,
Harry Cobden's been kicking on from the front most of the season, hasn't he?
I know he did it on Hermes Allen, who we're going to talk about after this.
Nappers Hill.
No, yeah, but I just this is
the right
a
way to ride
handicap.
them, generally. 4 times out of 5 is the best way to ride them, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not so sure, but he absolutely pinged that
Oh,
Sonagino.
what was that?
That wasn't good. What was that?
Severance.
Got it all wrong on what was the first, believe it or not. And now they are nicely spread out. Okay, then, James, give us the market then.
Well,
Sonagino's gone
Sonagino
up.
on the back of your pulling, he's out to 10.5. Our favourite is still Gin Coco at 4s.
All right, okay, and a different kind.
How's the market reacting to I like to move it doing this?
He's big as 13.
Look at
Yeah,
1,000
so
tears.
don't like it.
This Emmett Mullins thing, you can put another 2 zeros on it.
That's pulling up nearly already.
Yeah,
So is that the market telling the story on Emmett Mullins' horse, is it?
Absolutely remarkable, isn't it?
Wow.
Absolutely
Let's just
remarkable.
Wonders
that'll be
never
pulled up.
cease.
That's going to be pulled up.
I'll tell you what, yeah,
Wonders
but he's
never
definitely,
cease.
he's walked
That's it.
through that as well.
That's
All right,
it, done.
Marker Gold out the back as well. It'd be great to see him winning, wouldn't it, for Stevie Fisher and his friends? And
I'd be
Golo.
happiest with a different kind, I think, Dave. You're going well, 5.9.
Yeah, you're,
This is not your Brian Hughes type of ride, this chaps, is it? You know, we were used to him with the silky sort of hands and coming late and all that
Well,
sort of stuff.
Kingy's is
He's right
travelling
up
out
there.
wide as well. Their 2 Kingy horses have gone wide. It's
Cormier,
notable.
I'm looking for him as well.
He's
Where's
travelling.
he gone?
He's travelling about
Sonagino.
50.
Oh, yes, he
Inside,
is.
outside,
He switched him
Gin
inside
Coco.
Benny Bromley. Nina the
Sonagino's
Terrier
gone.
on. Now, this is not often when you see Kingy horses, are you? He likes his horses on the inside, doesn't he?
Yeah,
in
yeah.
midfield?
And they're more prominent than most Kingy horses as well. So
Do you
it's,
think they're a bit mindful of her fall last time? Because she's given a real sight, isn't she?
Well, he's got not many more left to jump now, is she? But
I'll tell you what, they're trapping a bit because Marker Gold's looking
Run to
like
the
he's
last.
off it.
Here's the run to the
Severance in
last.
trouble, and
It's the last,
Golo's
isn't it?
gone.
yeah.
Sonagino's finding the pace a bit hot, as I like to move it goes on there.
Kingy's
I'll
are
tell you-
tanking his too, aren't they?
Now look at Gin Coco
Yeah, Gin
warming up.
Coco.
This is getting exciting now, guys,
Come
isn't it?
on.
And the last.
On the
And
last.
Is this actually the last?
This is the
Yeah.
last.
Oh my lord, it's become a flat race. It's a bumper. And neither the Terrier then,
Odds
eyeballing
on
at the
Gin
moment.
Coco.
Harbour Lake trying to look at Gin
look at the
Coco.
guy, that's
Johnny
making
Coco.
it.
Batch isn't going to get this, is it? This is going to be, hang on a minute, but they're going to jump this. This is the last. The second last, comes the last. I like to move. It's running an absolute stormer. Harbour Lake is
Gin
finding this a
Coco,
bit
look
hot
at this.
racewise. Gin
at
Coco
this.
is sliding through the back.
1.16
Oh my goodness gracious me, Johnny
Gin
Burke.
Coco.
It's been a
As it
weekend
will
of
be.
weekends, but he's still got James Millman to pass.
Come
and
on.
I like to move it. It's all of a sudden got him at it, boys.
Odds on now,
Look
I
at
like to
this.
move it.
Neither
Yes.
the Terrier running on his third. Cormier
Come on,
doing what he
Johnny.
does. Harbour Lake
Go
back
on,
on the
Johnny.
pace.
It's not
I tell you
fine.
what, this is a really
Go
good
on,
performance,
Twister.
this, and it might just put off a fencing career. Gin Coco came up and eyeballed him, saying,
Oh, he's
how
high.
far? But he didn't like the
Having a
hill,
little
did he?
idle, having a little idle. But
Well
he's-
done,
sorry.
James
Sorry.
Millman.
Well done.
Top weight does it. The I don't need a run, says the Twister's yard. They weren't any good with
he's-
fantastic ads, but that is a serious performance, guys, I think, and doesn't he like Cheltenham?
See-
I like to move it. I like James Millman. Who knew that?
Well, tell you what, just watching in third, do you know what finished third? Harbour Lake.
Did it?
Yeah.
I'll
But
take
he
that.
was
He didn't have the
Needs
pace.
2.5, doesn't it, Keith?
He
He's
needed
a
the
3
jumps,
miles.
didn't he?
He's a 3 mile chaser in the future because he's. Look at the pedigree.
All right, okay. Well, listen, I've collected me each way.
But he's shaped really well. He's going to win a good race, him.
He's a nice horse.
But it's
'cause
not
he
going to
was
be a
very
great
green.
wood, Dave.
No, it's not a great wood. Are you suggesting that Kingy had the wrong race?
I don't know. Maybe it was
You
the right.
bottled that.
No, I wouldn't say it was the wrong race. But
What if the right race is a 3 mile hurdle next time?
Someone's just fell out, Dave.
He's going, the problem is, though, seriously, before we go to James to tell us all how it works.
Maybe it wasn't today's. Maybe today wasn't the day.
What do you do if you've got a 2.5 miler over hurdles? There's no valuable races, are there?
no, you were
Over
making this
fences.
good point yesterday, actually. You were
Why
talking
don't we
some
have
sense.
more valuable? It's 3 miles and 2 miles. There's nothing, you've got to go
Lanzarote?
Betfair Chase. The
Yeah, that is the
Lanzarote.
January, and they have increased
It's
that.
annoying, isn't it?
Holloway's hurdle.
He's annoying. He could put
Holloway's
another one.
hurdle,
There's
what's
probably
that?
about 10 in
2.5
Ireland as
miles
well.
Ascot.
That's the one he picked up on as well, the
Yeah.
Ascot one. That's it, Lanzarote and that one, and then you get
Yeah, you
to
probably are. But and then it's Coral Cup and all
Coral
them.
Cheltenham.
Intree's got one as well.
Yeah. But it's not. I'd like to see more. It's the same with the 2 mile. I just think there's a great programme for 2 mile hurdlers. We could just stretch it out a bit. But Harbour Lake want to keep on touch on. But James, fair play. And when did they know? Because Gin Coco must have gone
Well,
low.
Gin Coco going down the hill when he switched wide, Johnny Burke, that went 1.16. But Sammy Twiston kept on kicking at 1.16, and
I'm not massively surprised because it was a match from the last.
But
under
it's a long way to go.
1.2, $5,000 was traded. So they
Long way
were
to go.
confident.
He emptied quite quick, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't
He
find
He
an awful
did,
lot,
but then
did he?
look how far clear the third
Yeah.
that he's pulled. I like to maybe it was a good bumper horse, so I think actually the first he jumped badly. So I think actually Sammy going from the front, used his stamina,
Yeah.
kicked on. What price did
When
he
will these
hit?
jockeys learn, Dave?
When will these jockeys learn?
He hasn't got a clue, has he, Sammy?
Absolutely.
Didn't know what he was doing there. Didn't know what he was doing when he got them to take a turn because he wanted to get up the inside and get to the lead.
He got straight in, didn't he?
Yeah,
To
definitely.
dust
I
that
tell
one
you
off.
what, that was a masterclass from 30 seconds before the race started.
Fair play to Sam Twiston
No
Davis.
point in getting old if you don't get wiser.
He's a very tough horse, obviously, isn't he? Still a very young horse. They must be thinking about going over fences with him at some point.
He's still a bit of size about him.
Yeah,
Surely they're going to have to be sticking
I like
over
his
hurdles
jumping
now.
to be a
He's
bit
only
better,
5.
to be honest. So
Yeah, I can see that.
just that was a negative. Anything for that performance you want to be crabbing, it was the jumping.
Yeah. You
I'm
could.
looking for Twister's record in that race.
a great wood.
He's
It'd
had
be
4
quite
runners
good.
only in the.
No.
Yeah, 4 runners only in the last
Really?
decade for 1 place. I'm trying to think who that was.
Sure, he's won it in the.
Hi, Andy.
No, the new one it was. It was the new one.
The new one.
Probably would
He
have
was
been the
third
new
of 163 or something stupid.
one. Are we looking at that sort of horse, or is he not quite that good?
I'd be surprised. I
What's
think
he
if
gonna
he's
get for that, £8?
if he's going to be a grade 1 horse, it's probably going to be over fences because he's a little bit easier to get at, and he's a horse that should take the fences given the size of him.
I'm looking at what went wrong. He basically went to this meeting and then he bumped into John Bon in the kennel gate. Glory and Fortune nutted him.
Well, they
then,
aimed
of
him at
course.
the Supreme, didn't they? And he got nutted in the Betfair hurdle.
And then he came to Cheltenham in the county, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it was a long season.
When they tried to.
Well, he's gone from the
attack.
showcase. He had to go at Tritonic at the showcase meeting, so that's quite a lot of.
Yeah, he had a few hard races
Put
early
in the
on.
bag, yeah.
Sonagino was very disappointing, wasn't he? He was just
Just
too
dropped out.
gassy.
He's too gassy. Just dropped like a stone, didn't he, from the second last?
You must have thought you had that there. What do we do with Gin Coco now? Flatter track? I don't really
What do we
want to
do?
say
I
that.
don't think. I'm not going to crab Gin Coco. If there be
You
more,
think he's fine?
if there be more obstacles, I think that half the problem was there was no hurdles for
And he
him.
gave him a big start. He gave the leader a fairly big start. Made it up easy down the hill.
Easy.
I'd say if he stays on 1-3-1, 1-3-2, that's the lovely mark.
Is he on?
They're gonna give
Is he
him a few
qualified for the
pounds
Jerry
for that
Fielding still?
He was still a novice now, so he,
Oh yeah, so it must, oh yeah, of course, yeah, he's still a novice. He'll be in the Jerry Field.
He could, of course, because they could have. I mean, he would have probably.
You know, a flat track 2 miles would be
He
more
would
the
have
sort of
taken
thing
a
I
lot
would.
of beating in the upcoming race, wouldn't he? So, but how much has he won for finishing second there? Probably quite a
It's
bit.
at 21. As Harry Fry said, there's only one great word, and what's the surprise?
Yeah, they rolled the dice.
28. So it's seven difference as such.
2 came clear, and both in single figure odds. Well done if you weighed in with Mr. Millman, who's had a sterling weekend. All right, I like to move it there. What was the Betfair SP? Around about 8.5 to 1, wasn't it? There is the market for the final race then. 20 minutes away from Springwell Bay strutting his stuff. And again, the market's been quite weak on Iberico Lord, who we thought was going to be fairly well fancy, but there's slightly lukewarm vibes coming out there. I'm surprised that You Can Tango is as big as he is, because he's pretty much unbeaten so far. This could be a good race. One thing I can say, James, this is pressure on the nap.
The nap, it is.
Friday in, Saturday in, Sunday.
Should have gone for Nubia.
Nubia Negra was the true hat trick.
You know what he's going to be saying after the show now, don't you? I thought I would have had 3 naps and gone in.
Kept that 12-1 on shot, whatever he went
You'd
off
have been
at.
a fiend if you'd done that, though, dear.
Favourite, and he's stronger again now. Springwell Bay, 3.1, but I'm going to go for Fenner Cross, 4.2, 25 quid win on him. He's got that course distance form. John O'Connor, I think, is a very good Irish trainer, and he's particularly targeting the meetings at Cheltenham when Willie Mullins, Henry de Bromhead, Gordon Elliott, maybe not so much. They're not really having runners at Cheltenham early on in the season. So he won well at the track. I like that effort. Simon Tynes rode on that occasion. I just thought he showed a race that had more strength and depth than what Springwell Bay has achieved in his bumper successes and that Carlisle win. So he's second in. Iberico Lord, who you were really strong on Friday, he's now 5.3, third favourite. And Shears Electric's fourth in at 8.4.
He's a buzz horse, Iberico Lord. He could have run in the bumper, of course, Batchelor. Market has been lukewarm on him. And like I said, I've not got the vibes that I sometimes can get. We're throwing him at the deep end, says Nicky, but he's a lovely horse. You wonder whether this might be a bit wise guyish, just run a nice race and then we'll see him. French bumper winner. Aidan, of course, taking the ride. Fenner Cross then for James. I thought Springwell Bay set the standard here. Just about over Fenner. I wasn't totally sure about the strength of that October run.
It's his first in a year, wasn't it?
He's a good trainer, this as well, isn't it, John McConnell? He always seems to nick one.
Oh, Fenner, I thought you were talking about Springwell Bay.
Sorry, Fenner Cross. Let's just talk about him for a minute. But again,
he's like he's top 5 in Ireland now, isn't he, McConnell?
He's someone that you could follow the stable through the season and have a good time, couldn't you?
He'd come a little bit from nowhere to become one of the.
Horse whizzed up, didn't it, at the October meet? Wowzer!
He certainly he runs loads in Britain, so he's an Irish trainer.
He's doing the Gordon Elliott route 15 years ago.
Yeah,
some of them weren't good enough to win over in Ireland, so there's no point in trying to take on the big
Perth,
yards.
Goes to Ayr,
exactly.
goes to, you know.
But if he wants a bit of decent ground as well, he comes to Musselburgh a lot. So if you want to try and get a bit of decent ground,
that Albert Bartlett race up there.
Yeah, he seems to. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of too. He always seems to win that race.
Yeah, all right. Historically, Hendo's got a good record in this. Nicky has.
Has he now? Because I wondered what we do. Yeah, I wondered why this horse was here particularly. It's McManus, obviously. There's always an angle with McManus.
Nicky's last winner of this?
Sprinter Sacra.
Close.
Ooh.
Who's the closest to Sprinter?
Altior.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll be livid about that later on when he's having
having
his curry for one. He'll be like,
I got the Rooster Brewster's exact mark and the new one.
Yeah, don't worry
I am
about
chuffed
it.
to myself.
It's been a good stint, buddy. All right, so I like Springwell Bay. I thought he set the standard, and I like the strength in the market as well. I imagine they'll all be there, the connections, Gay Smith and all that lot, and they will be thinking this is a horse that might just... this reminds me of a sort of Soaring Glory type-esque, I think, horse, this.
He looked really, really good in
At
bumpers,
Market Raising, he looked like the deal, didn't he?
He did well. He'd been second at the Punchestown Festival, went to Market Raising, won after
It
the track.
was in the Goffs as well, wasn't it, I think? It was, let's have a look. It was the Goffs. He was second in that Goffs Land bumper.
He would have needed the run at Carlisle. He's won.
exactly.
I think he won about 3.5 lengths or something like that, but Carlisle's a tough track to go for first run.
Then the runner-up,
Stiff track.
Yeah, definitely.
the runner-up was beat at 5-6 next time at Market Raising this week.
The issue with Springwell Bay that I slightly worry about is that he's had a year off, so there's obviously been issues. He's coming back after a month after that. And the bouncing's one thing, but his half brother that's really good, not really good, but it's mint condition.
Yes.
And it can't get soft enough for mint condition.
He's Cape Tara, isn't he?
Yeah, so I know he's running good to soft and won on those sort of grounds so far. But
he's a racy type horse, though.
a horse that's presumably had setbacks and has got a half brother that would win a race in a bath.
Best horse in these colours?
What's his Hollywell?
Probably not the classiest.
Very good.
But he was the most
Who was the
winning.
classiest? I've got him. This is not one that I've looked up and I'm goading you all with. It would have been one of the first Albert Bartlett winners, I think.
Oh, is it Blackjack Ketchum?
Blackjack Ketchum.
That was a
See,
massive, that was a massive talent. He used to throw his head in there, didn't he, as well?
Yeah.
And back issues and breathing issues and all sorts.
But he did that at Fisher's Cross thing, didn't he? Just dominated that division that year.
And then in
was
next
a banker
season, yeah.
going in.
Well, he certainly didn't he get racing with Black Massini or something?
Cooper used to ride that, didn't he? Black Hat.
Liam Cooper.
Liam Cooper.
Yeah, he rode it a couple of times.
Yeah.
But AP was riding it by the end.
It was
Yeah.
AP towards the end.
Yeah,
Yeah, AP
towards
used
the
to ride
end,
a lot
yeah.
for Gay because obviously he's got that Ballytor connection.
Yeah, it was him and there was a Hobbs
That
horse
is
and
the
they went.
Garrison Savannah connection, actually.
That
isn't
is the
it?
Garrison Savannah
Yeah, but that's-
connection.
maybe
If it
it'll
all
be
goes wrong for
watching
Springwell Bay,
away.
he's going over to Barb's to warm his legs up in the sea, and he'll be going to the Garrison dinner plate.
Barb's.
But I think this might be the first Fav we see going in. Oh, I know Nubeneg's gone in. All right, get over it. But I think this is going to be a tough one to beat. I like you can tango at a price, as I've said. Keith Melrose in the last.
Yeah, I've already talked about how I like Springwell Bay. I can see there being, I can see the downsides to him a little bit, but it's a sort of horse that if he could easily have been at 4 or 5, you know, in a race like this if the promise is shown. I think the potential downsides are more than factored in to his price. He could be pretty good.
You want to see him. A lot of John Joe's horses can be a bit like this, don't you? Like, what was that thing that you place laid in the novice on
Collector's
Friday?
item.
Collector's
Didn't
It's
go a
terrible,
yard.
but the market stank about it.
Yeah, that did drift out to about
Unlike when it won at
10,
Chepstow
10,
and it beat the
12 to 1.
Hugo's New Horse or whatever, it was well back that day. They fancied it and it looked like it was going to. Everything looked like it
Poor
should
old
run
Bruce
well on
put him
Friday.
up as a win
You want to
selection.
see these John Joe horses back it up a bit. Soaring Glory was similar to that.
Yes,
He ended up in the Betfair Hurdle because he fell at Weatherby, didn't he? I think, or something like that. And then they thought, all right, they come up against Dusart, didn't he? Of
Who's
course.
that chaser they've got as well that can't jump? And it looked really good. It was going to win by half the track at Lingfield, fell at the last, and it's got a massive engine. It ran in the Pertemps final in the end, blue and pink colours.
Oh,
Into C.
it ran at the last
Into
meeting,
C.
didn't it?
It did run at the showcase meeting in the 2.5 mile race.
It didn't jump at all, did it?
Jumped
Yeah.
again, jumped like a table. It's not a very good jumper, but it's.
Ever sat on any tables over a fence?
Have you tried to jump a fence? You're the sort of guy who would have. Have you tried to jump a fence on a table?
Yeah,
Matty Batch, I've got one for you in the Sefton. It's
This is
a
a-
table.
it's a table.
This is a job for Batch.
It's in the Grand National, I'd ride it.
It's just a job
It's
for
in the Grand
Batchy.
National, I'd ride it.
He'd ride anything. Matty Batch, right, it's been a great weekend for you so far, Batch. And where are we going? Your final arrow, please.
I know it's a bit boring, but it is Springwell Bay.
3 for Springwell.
But I'm going to give an each-way shout because I think he's overpriced. Is the top horse.
It's 3 miler.
Dear Mark.
Dear Mark
got loads of-
finished second to
Fennercross,
Fenner
yeah.
Cross last time, and he's 3 to 1. So I just
I
think
can't really work out why he's that big
I just
either.
think he's big. I
Yeah.
just think he's a good each-way bet.
Yeah.
Because I think Springwell Bay will win, and I just think each way for the top horse for me.
All right, great
Yeah.
stuff. This is not a race you associate John Joe with, by the way. I can't find any
We're not.
John Joe runners in this, or certainly none that have played. But this was the I Like to Move It race, by the way, last season, wasn't it? Of
Was
course.
it? Right.
He was 6 to 4 on when he won that.
He actually wasn't very impressive in it last year. He was more impressive when he beat Tritonic.
You've got some interesting horses that have won this Altior, of course. The Liquidator, do you remember him? Proper bumper horse, wasn't he? Dodging Bullets, champion chase winner somehow. Moon
Slate
Racer,
House.
champion bumper winner. Did he win a champion bumper Moon Racer? Was he second?
Don't know, sorry, yeah, he might have been second in it actually, but he certainly ran very well in
He
a
was a
champion.
very popular horse, wasn't he, Moon?
He did, no, he beat Modus.
Yes,
Aye.
Modus.
Dear,
And a
oh, yeah.
champion bumper. And then went to Punchestown, didn't he? And just got beaten by blow. All right, look. So this is historically a very good race, basically. Why is You Can Tango so big?
You Can Tango is here, yeah.
I mean, he beat a pretty good horse, I think, last time. He's 3 from 3 under rules. You know, he loved the ground, I think.
13.5 You Can
That's
Tango.
a big price, that is. It comes quite quickly for him. Sean Bowen on.
That'd be a little bit like what we were discussing yesterday. Ollie Murphy needs a horse to make the next step up.
He's having a better season, isn't he? The last couple
Good
of seasons.
start. Storm Leader won well yesterday.
Well, they've all turned into Itchy Feet. You know. they're
Oh, I
like-
hope not.
Well, I think Itchy Feet wins this season.
Jinx. Well, he'll
On that
decide.
Brave Man's game from surely there's going to be a race.
He'll decide if he wins this season.
Yeah,
that sort of horse.
he gives me itchy teeth, I said to Ollie Murphy when I
Itchy
interviewed
teeth.
him.
Yeah.
And he's, he does, doesn't he?
His last win,
Like that,
Yeah, he
His
sort of
last-
smirked.
February 2020, beat Midnight Shadow.
Is that, yeah, see,
That's the Silly Isles.
it's a
Yeah.
it's
Itchy
a,
Feet,
it's
yeah.
a filthily talented
So that's-
horse.
Oh, it's a massively talented
Yeah.
horse. But he knows full well what he wants to do.
I think we'll get the win out of him this season. It's why we love it, isn't it? What about She's Electric then for Norman Lee and Robbie Gogan? Again, comes into it on a hat trick and seems pretty strong in the market as well. Yeah, She's Electric, strong enough, James, isn't she?
She's solid, 7.8. She's actually, I think she'll get a bit of place because Iberica Lord is out of the 6s. He's
I
very,
wanted to
very
hum
weak.
an Oasis song, She's Electric.
Please don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's actually not that, is it? I actually don't like Oasis, so I'm not a fan. I'll probably get loads of abuse now on the telly.
She's Electric is an Oasis song.
Is it? But it's
It's
She's
not- it's She's,
Electric.
no,
Yeah,
it's the compressed
I was thinking
version.
they might be fans out there, but Norman. Yeah, but
They
the
might
Irish
find,
sauce-
there's probably at least, statistically, there'll be at least one Oasis fan in the comments.
I would imagine so. What's the Shark doing with the horse over here? The Shark's been getting some brilliant PR, hasn't he, this season because of Hewick, of course.
Taking horses to the... It's Carb's idea, that, isn't it? Paul Carby did that. He rode the thing into the pub as well, so the story goes.
Well, quite.
Is that
there was
true?
There was a lot of hot air about that, wasn't there?
So what? There's a lot of hot air about everything these days.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not fussed.
Yeah.
Were the owners all right with it? Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just good fun, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a risk putting your potential Gold Cup horse and walking it into a pub, though.
There's exactly, but that's the sort of abandon that Shark's got.
It's Gold Cup next, isn't it, as well? By the way?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I wouldn't be putting...
If Lord Windermere can win a Gold Cup,
Lord Windermere.
I watched that Gold Cup the other day. It was terrible, though.
It was not a good watch, was it?
it was
Walking up the
still
hill.
impossible jumping the last fence, wasn't it?
I mean, is that
Who was the horse that he beat?
On his own, was it?
on his own and
Was it
giant
on his
poster
own?
with
Ruby
stars
looked
on his own?
absolutely crestfallen. How's Davey beating me on this?
That was his first win of the season, wasn't it, Clays?
Clotties,
He
yeah.
was an RSA chief.
Yeah, he
Dr. Lamb.
Yeah.
He had like
He was an
had
RSA
no winners in
winner, of
Ireland. I
course.
think he had 2 winners in the UK, and they were both like graded races.
Jim,
Yeah.
Oshie
He
Murphy's
was
uncle, he just had
cursing
the
Russell,
lucky
wasn't he?
streak.
Yeah.
Because Russ was like, I'm riding this in the Gold Cup, I'm just going to bob round the back. So Kalai's watching it and like, he split it, the noise is coming out. And then he goes and wins.
Good old Jim.
Oh, dear.
Good old Jim.
Well, what- Jim knows- Jim
Kalai
knows-
done the same in the National.
Well, Jim knows exactly what to do when it comes to winning weak Gold Cups, doesn't he?
Oh, Port Henrietta's going to absolutely
Hey,
you.
nothing wrong with Sir Rembrandt. Get on with it.
Nothing wrong with Sir Rembrandt.
If Lenzio had had better eyesight, there might have been a different
Oh, the
story.
brickbats coming out here today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Lenzio's keen to come on this show, by the way. He had a right pop at me on the phone.
Oh, he'd
He'd
be fun on this, wouldn't he?
He'd be great fun on this. Yeah, we've had him on Watch Out.
You tell Lenzio he's got enough jobs.
Yeah, but
He needs to get, he gets in everywhere. He's not coming on this
you've
show.
already- We'll get him in with you, Bax. Don't worry.
No, Lenzio, if you're watching this,
It's Posty that can go and pick up his P45. Right, okay. What have we got? Some social loving on the screen. No, have you enjoyed the show out there? I played football in my under-8s team this morning, Sea Green United, by the way.
They win?
A clean sweep.
Did you play?
All 4 games.
Did you actually get the boots on?
Dave
I'm
knocks the
reliving
kids
my
out the
youth,
way.
Keith. It doesn't look like it, but I could kick a ball about. I was a goalkeeper, of course. Springfield Lord by 10 lengths minimum.
didn't see the goal. did they?
Prometheus, seeing the ball big. Will is back with us and says, Iberico Lord on the bridle. There's the on the bridle button.
On the
We're going to have to have a word
hard
with Barry
held.
about this and
Yeah.
Betfair, guys, aren't we? Come
What's
on,
wrong
Anna
with
Lauren,
Dear
if
Mark?
you're watching, Harry. Al Parks, what's wrong with Dear Mark? Am I missing something from his form? This is the one that you said at a price will go well. If you like, Fenner Cross.
Massive price, yeah.
Have you saved on this, Dear Mark?
No, I haven't. 28, so can he get in 3? I'm not sure.
It's not like he gets a weight differential, is it? It's on levels with them,
This
isn't it?
this run for a mark potentially.
Yeah, oh, filthy. And Andy Sim says, I need Springwell Bay in singles and doubles with Does He Know? Nice one, Andy. Great to have you with us. Talking about Does He Know? I thought 12 stone was enough to stop any horses. He's not very big, says Kim Bailey.
That usually means they're dead small.
We weren't planning on coming
Rat
here.
like.
He was-
Another rat like, a bit rat like, yeah.
Another little rat. You're getting that in there. But he was due to go to, of course, and this is interesting actually. He was due to go to Sandown. Of course, he came here. Laura Collett's been working with him now. Laura Collett is the
Eventon.
extraordinaire. Natalie Green talks about her like she's literally walking on water with Laura Collett. And she's had some incredible horses.
Well,
fat horses
Dubai
as
Honour
well.
was the
Dubai Honour.
William Haggis
Yeah,
winner.
yeah, the Haggis horse. So Laura's been doing all the work.
So what, does she teach him to jump? Is that what she does?
Basically,
He
we tries to improve him.
He's a tough individual. He's got no. This is why I love Kim. He's got no right to be a racehorse. He's just telling it as it is. He's got no pedigree. I bought him here, and he's a Yorkshire point-to-point horse. He's great for English point-to-pointing, so good advert,
Oh,
basically.
Posty would be loving that comment.
The Grand National. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And again, like Batch, you'll be saying, stay out of it, Kim.
The Grand National?
The Grand National looks like it will be the target.
I brave. Bassie's going to find us an
Bassey says he's
alternative
not a Grand National horse, but he's
Bassey
a
says
good
he's
horse.
not a Grand National horse.
So there you go, they're conflicting
Bassey
already.
ride anything over the Grand National. Bassey would send anything into there.
Is it Grand National for you, Batch?
I'd ride anything in it, just to get a ride in it.
Just to get the
I'd
rides.
ride a table in it.
Well,
We said to Posty.
Maybe arrange it on your...
We said to Posty
Doesn't
yesterday
fill
on the
up
show,
anymore.
Keith, that we're going to get right. Send a horse to Posty, or maybe Posty can find something. We'll get it. We'll get Fran, his wife, to take out the licence. Get it running on the rules. We've got something that can get there at the last.
Yes.
Because the next ride might be the last, mightn't it?
Yeah, very strong possibility. Yeah.
All right, it might have to
At
come.
Plumpton, though.
I was going to say it might have to come between the sticks. But
I see you will run all right today, do you? You get on him
Yeah,
for
the one that you scored.
Yeah, the Sussex National.
Oh, what? And that 1:30 at Fontwell?
1:30. No,
Did it
that
run
was,
all right, did it?
No, that was out the screen.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah,
It wasn't as far behind as I thought.
It's a
it
good
was
scoring
Well,
jockey,
though.
really.
Yeah, it didn't.
It's all went well. It's all went well, James.
A juvenile selling hurdle,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, if you've got a horse out there and you want to Batch to go out and glory, let's do it.
Yes.
But Charlie at the moment is at the yard sourcing the talent. So this is who'd like to see that? I think we'd all like to see it. Al Parks, loving the show as usual. Great to
Yeah,
have
only
you
got
down
beat
under with us.
16 lengths.
Yeah, not bad.
Wasn't a bad.
What about military declaration? Isn't that going to be the one?
Yeah, just keep running it on the flat in a minute.
I know, that annoys you, doesn't it? It's running well on the flat, that's why,
Yes,
Batch.
I know.
It's all your schooling that you're doing with it. That was the one, wasn't it? We tried to get you in last Boxing Day and you said, I've got something at Fontwell, I've got something at Fontwell. Oh, what was it? It didn't really turn up, did it?
No,
Not or something. Was it? Oh. Anyway, there we go. We are having some fun. Right, okay. Last race, would you believe it, this wonderful November meeting. I say it's a wonderful November meeting. What will you be doing with the form of this? You're shaking your head, typically. I mean, you shake your head at everything.
I said before, I said the same in the showcase. As Cheltenham form goes, obviously everybody wants a winner at Cheltenham, and you expect Cheltenham to be the be-all and end-all for a lot of people, even these non-festival meetings. In those terms, it's not been brilliant.
Right.
I mean, it's decent form, but
Well, we're about to find out with Fenner Cross, aren't we? You know.
yeah. Well, people are going to regard this as 9 out of 10 form, but I'm going to say it's maybe 7 or 8 out of 10 form.
Yeah, I think Jane Mangan yesterday, Racing TV, she said you're going to see more winners from Nace at Cheltenham in March than what you're going to see at Cheltenham.
It's been good racing, isn't it?
The Irish is really starting to step up a gear, whereas we've not got
When's
that
the
strength in
Morgiana?
there.
Is it next weekend, the Morgiana? Is it because we've got Ascot coming up? Ooh, striking stuff there, don't you?
Constitution Hill.
Constitution Hill.
proper
Well, we
horse.
think he's going there.
He's going to have a cat. Literally no one is going to run against him.
No, exactly. It's going to be...
We
we got-
absolutely nothing.
We've got Aplutard coming up. Well, Willie might send one over. See how
Betfair's
good
going to have about 3
Constitution is.
runners because already Royal Upper Guy's out.
Looks like Frodon's not going to go as well.
That's going to be
Maximum
a
of
nice
4.
one.
That's
Protectorate, Aplutard.
Protectorate will go.
Bristol might he'll run.
He'll
There you
go,
go.
and he wants a box. Kills suggested his weekender column, didn't he? Back him 3 places each
well,
way.
exactly. His 12s,
Yeah.
he's got him. So it was just a sensible bet, that.
Because still he showed in that handicap, didn't he, behind the Galloping Bear, that he
Yeah,
could
and
do it.
Haydock's his domain as
I'm
well.
looking forward to seeing the Galloping Bear come back, by the way. He was scratched last week.
Ben
wasn't
Clark.
he?
He was, yeah.
I'm really
He won a
looking
couple of
forward
those
to
races like he just joined in. It was quite something.
Yeah, lovely, massive, great individual. All right, we're watching the favourite go down, full of himself. It's Springwell Bake. See why he wears across nose band. Hopefully he won't be too keen in the run.
Bit of racing tech knowledge there.
Oh yeah, listen, I've been listening to you plenty. Don't worry about it. He's never said that. If you see a cross nose band, what does that make you think? Oh, here we go. My arms are going to be extended before we get in the race.
Nah, doesn't know.
And a lot of jump horses do run, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of them do, yeah.
Yeah, all right, okay.
You
John
got hands like
Jr.
mine,
was at
Dave.
Wetherby
Yeah.
yesterday. They landed a touch at Wetherby yesterday. Did you see that, Keith?
Who was that? The
McManus and Josh Guerrero and Ollie Greenall landed a touch.
I saw
on
great. I saw
You
Green on
us away
Green
about
loads
the
of
trainer
winners.
yesterday.
Heroic.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Ben
Ben
Haslam.
Haslam.
Yeah,
I said they've gone for
your
this, lads. It was
conduct.
just before we came on
So
air, I said
you
this is gonna
saw
win.
McManus horse running in the north.
Assumed it was
and assumed it was Ben
Haslam.
Haslam.
That's when you worry, when you see a horse with a chiffney bit on.
And this is she is
is
electric, right?
electric.
Who wears a hood as well.
She might be well
a
named.
Chiffney bit. Explain one of them to me.
Yeah, go on then. I don't even know what that is.
So sometimes James said as well, when you're leading horses round,
You got a naughty one.
naughty one, like a colt, chiffney bit, if you give it a tug, it really makes them sort of stop. And it's the same principle with the bridle. If one's tugging with you, it really puts pressure on it, and it's
You know when Aiden's got one that's a bit dodgy when that's in a ring bit because he
Yeah.
likes them all
You
in
get
the
onto your agent
ordinary
and go,
snaffle.
5 Chifney bits in a row.
No, I'd be saying, you've got me 5 right. You've done a miracle.
You've finally woken up.
You finally woke-
Okay, all right, fair enough. I'll let you
What's
into
the other
it.
one, James? A Hackamore.
No, yeah, that's the no bit at all. That's when you're in trouble.
Is that the DEFCON 5?
That's-
I don't think they can run in that anymore.
They can't run in it, but you use them at home.
Because his mouth it gets sore with a.
Obviously.
Yeah, it does happen a lot now, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
If they're
You hear
really
some high-profile horses that have had to have their
They're
horses
really
on.
strong. But at Hackamore, it goes one way or the other,
Yeah,
James.
you can
doesn't
either have no control and be in big trouble.
it? Big trouble.
What's Iberico Law bearing a cross-nose band?
Yeah.
That's a cross-nose band, isn't it? He does look a bit flighty, doesn't he? Can
He's,
we agree that
he's
been
become
weak?
more solid now, actually.
Has he?
He was out the 6s. He's 5.2 now. Springwell Bay 3.15. Mine, Fenner Cross, is very solid at 4.2.
The only horse that won this with previous one run next to his name, and I doubt that was a bumper, was Slate House in 2017, when he was a bit of a crack novice.
He was an expensive pointer, wasn't he?
What's happened to the big breakaway in those cars?
Both of them turned the same.
He's
He liked Slate House. He just went a
Was he
bit.
the one that went dead slow and couldn't
As a
be
novice,
bothered anymore?
He basically did he place in the Ballymore, but he looked like he hated the track. We thought. And then
Yeah,
turned out it was just very
he started
close.
spitting it out, didn't he?
He won at this meeting. He won the novice chase at this meeting, didn't he? Despite not pleasing everyone. And
He
it's
looked
just
like the
all
real
gone
deal,
wrong
didn't
since.
he? And then
Did,
just
yeah.
really
I mean, he's ginormous, isn't he? So you might
Placed
have
in a
been.
Porto Star despite
Yeah.
taking every fence with him.
Yeah.
Very
He
talented.
should have won that.
animal.
That was the one that what's his face won the Skelton horse. The fell in the
Chamblou?
Charlie Hall, Chamblou.
Chamblou.
And he should have won that. He
Yeah.
jumped. Chamblou jumped brilliantly.
Yes,
and he jumped like a.
I'm hoping he comes back. He's had a little bit of setback, Chamblou, isn't he? Hoping my Drogo comes back this season as well for Dan.
It's going to be the spring, he said, isn't it?
That's a bit of a worry.
That is exactly. He missed a season and now it's back until Same with Monkfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once
Once they start, especially when it's Mullins, once he's struggling.
that Brown
to come back.
advisory, the RSA, as we know, it became a tough race, top of the game. Never saw it.
Oh,
afterwards, did we? You know.
Always been a hard race for novices. That.
You could argue that some of the horses that were beaten by, these horses in that race as well. So it's a tough one. You need some water there, Patch. You all right? Did you nearly have the ride on top of the game or something? Is that bad memories? All right.
Have you ever ridden for Paul?
Oh no, Batch.
I know what you're going to say.
Breaking news.
2-1.
Aston Villa have gone 2-1.
That's why you were coughing.
Yeah.
It's just. All right, we're having some fun here on RP Live. It's the final race, 3 days. We love the open meeting. We love you being with us as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's what it's all about. Keeps the lights on here at the Racing Post Live studios. That's for sure. It's been great to have Keith back. We're going to see you plenty through the winter, aren't we?
Hey, yeah, I think so.
Have we sorted that one out in December? You were supposed to come back.
Yeah, I better come back to you on that one.
Is that Christmas one?
It's the one before Christmas. It's probably odds against, but I'll have another look.
We could get the moose hat on you because we will be doing Boxing Day.
Tell you what
with
you
Graham
won't be
Millman.
getting on me.
Graham Millman, where Graham Rodway has to wear the moose hat. He loves it, actually. And all of you love him out there wearing that. He's coming back next week, Graham Rodway. You'll be thrilled to hear. Right, bypassing what will be the
I'm
last.
sure he'll have
That
lots.
race
He'll have
again.
lots to say about
He's got
the,
plenty
Betfair
to say.
Chase,
He's got
won't he?
plenty to say at the moment. He's missed this, that's for sure. Now, Springwell Bay,
In the form of his life is G-Rod, actually.
what tipping
Oh,
was.
yeah, he can't pick anything that won't win.
Didn't it? He went to go and
Really
oppose
looking
him.
forward to that next week now. He likes to tell us. All right, on we go. She's electric, and the Chifney bit batch has gone clear.
Oh, she's
Now, you might call that one keen.
Yeah.
That is what you would call pulling extremely hard if it was a close-up comment.
Gone Tonto is the one I
That
think. I put in my
Gone
notes.
Tonto.
Went Tonto, Cheltenham 13-11.
I bought the on the bridle, but this for pleasure. You remember won this race a couple of years ago by doing something quite similar to this. But dear Mark,
But on what did Charlie tell you yesterday, Dave?
what was it?
On very
Oh,
different
no,
grounds.
no, he wasn't happy with that, was he?
No,
'Cause
he
third time
wasn't.
lucky was his baby, of course.
Oh dear.
You can tango in third. Settled a bit better now, Springwell Bay. Fenner Cross right upsize him. Iberico Lord outside the back. Not surprising seeing away he went to post. Shark Hanlon and Brian Hughes combining up with Fantastic Shadow. And Desert Friends sees them all in. James Millman going out onto the far side. And she's electric. Absolutely crackers.
Yeah, 9.8, the front runner. They're not liking Fenner Cross. I'm not particularly happy either. 7.2. Just niggling away on the flat, Simon Torrens. Real short now, 2.6 Springwell Bay. They're happy with John Joes.
The producers think you're trolling Batch, by the way. Robbie Wilders always says you love a bit of mauve, you love a bit of purple, don't you? But of course, your Villa jumper, they're saying, of what you're sort of...
This is absolutely not. I told you earlier I'm a Hearts fan.
yeah, get it right, producers. Do
You
something
can,
right this
you can
weekend.
tango. I like how this is. Oh, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of knee in that stride, isn't there?
What, you can tango?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that stride.
Which suggests, obviously, he wants a bit of cut.
Well, that's the sort of assumption, isn't it? I'm not sure. Does it always work out?
Sometimes they struggle when it gets heavy ground because they're that uncoordinated to go through it.
He had to call a deep knee action, high knee action, uncoordinated, didn't he? Well, we all call it, the pounding the ground. They're going to love the mud. And to James looks at them like they're
No, that's good. Well, what we've got somebody here who doesn't just go for the received wisdom, Dave.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna ask.
this is why he's managed to get as far as he has in the game, let me tell you. All right, and the Nap.
The Nap's struggling. I'm not
He's cynical. He's double bluffing it.
happy. We're nines now, Fenner
All the
Cross.
way out to nines, Fenner Bay. Long way to go as well.
Going back on the bridle again now. Come on, Simon.
Oh, here we go. All right, okay, fair enough. You Can Tango continues to catch my eye. Dear Mark.
Oh, he got in the bottom of that. Did Springwell
not
Bay.
good there. Walked through it.
Just as well, he's only got 2 left to jump.
He's still only 2-1. Yeah, he's a proper bumper horse. Again, it's a case of how much this has got in front, Batch.
Right, Berwick Lord's going well.
Surely going to fall. How keen she's been.
What's JP's horse?
Oh, he just got
Sure,
squeezed
there's
up.
handles.
4.8.
They put me right away here, haven't they? You Can Tango just finding the pace a bit hot here. Springwell Bay showing his class. Fenner Cross coming as well. And Iberico Lord, whatever he does today, win, lose or draw, we've got one for the future here. He looks really
Dave Orton's
fast.
horse travels, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he's
This
been
is
in
the
a good-
last
good
then,
slot.
right?
Dear Mark, no, there's
Dear
one
Mark,
more.
upsize,
We
Batch, go,
made
go,
that
go
mistake
back.
in the Greatwoods. There's one more to
I'll
go,
tell you
isn't
what,
there?
still on the bridle. She's electric. Still on the bridle. I'll tell you what,
Favourite's going
fantastic
well.
shadow going well as well, isn't it? Fascinating
Odds
shadow.
on Springwell Bay.
Odds on Springwell Bay. What's it got? Very short, isn't it? 4 to 5 on.
1.8.
All right, now this is the last. Get it right, Dave Orton. That was an unusual 3 out. Okay, here we go
He
then.
saved a bit on She's Electric.
He
She's
might have
fine
done.
again.
Iberico Lord
4.3.
just gone weak, guys, hasn't he? He's not picked up at all.
Dear Mark's found very little as well.
You Can Tango, brave run this is. Came off the bridle, and this is going to be like what we saw home of the league do earlier. But
Well, look,
Springwell Bay,
Shears Electric's been passed, so let's see what happens now.
he's not quick enough.
1.37.
Come on, where's the Nap, James? Is it going to get there? I think it
Slowly,
does.
Slowly.
I think Fenner might do this.
You might win this, you know.
Even
You Can Tango's absolutely out on his shield, and I
God.
tell you what, this is
Oh,
unbelievable.
James!
James Millman, 3 naps in a row. You wouldn't believe
Yes.
it. Insufferable stuff here on Racing Post Live. You were told the Friday nap, the Saturday nap, the Sunday nap, it's gone in. Unbelievable. John McConnell gets his winner on the board. We're going to have to doff our cap. Barry Orr, where are you, everyone's saying? James has had a weekend. And the merry month of November, our charity, well boosted as well. You did your cynical double bluff on the side. How big did he go at that point?
I wasn't happy. 12 to 1. He hit in the run.
I'm still surprised. There was 3 travelling miles better than him.
He was niggling a long, long way. Bearing in mind he's got all the platforms, the hurdles coming out should have suited him, but he didn't look very happy on the first lap or so. Got squeezed out round the bend. He would have been an unlucky loser. But Springwell Bay, again, hasn't... A John Joe horse that wins in lower grade, when they step up, he was 1.8 in the run, but he just hasn't really found anything off the bridle.
No, he plodded, didn't he? He didn't fade under pressure as much as he just plodded. Because She's Electric's finished unplaced, by the way. She's travelling this, but as soon as it came, she's out. She had to be the way she's won through the
It's not
days.
really sort
4.1
She won a
she
funny
hit-
race.
she
It's
hit
not
in the
stopped either. Springwell Bay looked like he wanted
He's just he's just plodding.
Yeah.
I don't. That's
Bit green still.
I'd actually say the jump's been omitted probably hampered him
Possibly
more than
so.
some of the rivals. I know he went short, but he
Managed
has
to-
actually found a bit
Let's
more.
talk about
He's
his
managed to
winner.
bounce a bit.
Do you think we're going to see him in like what used to be the old Pierce handicap, something like that? Is he going to be a novice that goes and tackles, or are they going to go down the Supreme route?
He's
Is
not
John-
good enough for the Supreme.
Right, so is he going to do I Like to Move It? Who
Yeah,
won this race, of
I'd
course?
say more go bet for a hurdle, but the big handicaps. He's got that
Unexposed.
experience.
There's a lot of
of
hurdlers
platform.
now that tackle the hurdle in races like that because the novices know that you need to be 160 to win the Supreme.
And you've
these
got
days.
such, normally Willie or Gordon, they send such one that's so strong. You either go for the Supreme and try and get your third place prize money.
It
but
will be fascinating to see the comments in your members club later on at 6 p.m. You'll be able to get all them basically. Go into the analysis department on that website. You can check it out. You see in the bottom of the box what John McConnell says about that chap. And I think we can all agree now that this is a trainer you've got to pay lots and lots of respect to wherever he turns up. I mean, we've been doing that for a couple of years, but very progressive training. Doing the Gordon Elliott route, said James Millman. James Millman, sterling stuff this weekend, old boy.
yeah, it's been an enjoyable 3-day little outing.
Got your jumpers hat on?
Yeah, no, I do like my jumpers. Like I say, Nuba Negra was going to be the highlight, but we had 3 winners anyway, so it's all right.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Fenner Cross then. It's like they're trolling me, look, James's selection there, but all 3 naps went in. You can see why Barry put him forward to deputise for him. Barry, I think, will be back on the show next week, or it'll be Mark Orowski. So, James, we bid you farewell.
Yep, thank you very
Safe
much.
journey back to Out of Hebrides or wherever it is you come from.
More that location rather than me. I'm the opposite end.
No, he's gone. He's very much south of the border now. How are we? We're staying overnight. We've got the front page tomorrow.
Front page tomorrow, yeah.
The hills are alive with the sound of Betfair Chase next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Betfair Chase. It was always a meeting I used to go to because it's actually a really good meeting generally. You've got 2 staying handicap.
Great.
Like the odd
handicap
fixed
hurdle.
brush. I don't think it
Yeah.
is fixed
Oh,
brush.
I know,
anymore,
it's
but
a
that's always
shame.
a good handicap.
Since they got rid of the fixed brushes, it's not been the same.
No, you're right. You don't
Not
see the
been the
future
same,
Jason type
unfortunately.
in it, do you?
Remember when used to Grand Cru would win that?
Lizzie
Yeah,
Petty
yeah,
won on it
Dynast.
on
Yeah.
Good pipey horses.
That was
Yes,
a good
did.
bet.
It used to be the hottest handicap hurdle of the season now.
Cracking prize money.
Not anymore.
It's an early closer, isn't it? All right, Keith, thanks for joining us, mate. We'll see you very, very soon here.
Pleasure.
And look out for Keith tomorrow on the front page. Matty Batch, superb stuff, mate.
Yeah, I'm still going to live off the back of the 14-1 winner yesterday, I think.
You would wipe the floor with us yesterday,
Yeah,
mate.
and you won Victus, I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely happy days. Batch, well, listen, we're going to get you that ride, mate. All right.
Fingers crossed.
Go and watch the last 10 minutes or whatever of the defeat you're about to witness.
Still 2-1 Villa,
At
unfortunately.
Brighton. Yes, it is, absolutely.
We get a late minute draw, don't we?
And we'll see you back for the Newbury Showpiece meeting.
Yes, the Hennessy.
Yeah, when
Or the
Posty and
Coral,
Batch will be
sorry.
back again. Or the Coral Gold Cup, quite
It's a
right.
bet, surely. They don't
It's always
mind.
going to be the Hennessy to me.
Yeah. Sterling stuff from everyone at the Racing Post this weekend. Don't forget World Cup, that pull out on Thursday coming up. There'll be another video for that. Plenty of shows coming your way. We'll be back next Saturday. Well done to Will and Sam in the gallery. Sterling work. The boys have been absolutely at it. Well done you for watching us. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. That was Cheltenham 2022. Little change of pace for you then here.